Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. All right. What we got going on here tonight? Let me know if y'all can hear me. I want to make sure everybody can hear me good. And let me double check something here. All right, check one. All right, look like everything's good. All right, headphones working. All righty. Cool. Hey, what's going on? All right. Hey, sorry, took me almost an hour to get on. I was trying to take care of some stuff, get some information together for y'all, so took me a little bit. And then I had a taste for my favorite dessert here. About to lose my dessert. Cinnamon toast. I'm gonna tell you, this is it right here. Cinnamon toast. I should have browned it a little bit more on the back, but I didn't want to overcook it and stuff. So I love me some cinnamon toast. You fine, babe? You fine? What's going on? Texas in the house. All right. Yeah, no, you fine, babe. Yeah, she in there doing some making her some smoothies. So you might hear a little the ninja thing in the background, so shouldn't drown me out too much or at all. Oh man. Well, look, I appreciate y'all being in. Hey, hit the thumbs button or whatever they call it. What they call it? Yeah, hit that like and share button and everything. And for those of you who want to join, you can call in. Got questions? I know. Yeah, the simplest things are the best. So if y'all want to hop on, feel free to click the link and ask the questions live. Because y'all know, let me know if the background noise is too much. Y'all shouldn't hear the blender too bad. It ain't gonna take her long to fix it. To fix that stuff up. Oh yeah, Mary Trice. Okay, yeah, y'all gotta watch out for her. She's trying to take all the orders from everywhere. But yeah, if y'all got questions, something that y'all want to ask, now y'all know I don't be following that chat that well, so y'all gotta call in. Velma, I am doing good. Let me know when you want to do a follow-up on your website and everything. Yeah, cinnamon toast ain't no joke. I love my cinnamon toast. Plus, I didn't get to go to the store to get my my macadamia nut cookies, and this here is quieter than the chips that I was going to eat. That butter, throw that sugar on there, sprinkle that cinnamon. Man, I used to eat that when I was a kid, and man, I would go to sleep real good at night. I'm serious. I'll be going to sleep real good. But I just really wanted to come on, talk to y'all, answer some questions, because I'm sure somebody got questions. Okay, I'm sure somebody has questions concerning anything notary. All right, or even non-notary. Questions about your business, questions about how to deal with the signing companies, questions about how to deal with other notaries, questions about training, the NNA, questions about how to get your spouse on board. Okay. All of these things are things that I know that you probably got in the back of your mind, front of your mind, or what have you. So it'll be pretty cool if y'all could go ahead on and, I put the link in there, hop on in and ask your questions. So that way we can help out the notary community. Now to start off, from my perspective, from my end, I finished chewing on some more of this cinnamon toast. One of the things that I wanted to talk to y'all about, and I hope this shows up nice and clear. Here it is. What did you say? I have a question. Going to the link now. All right, cool, Marion. One of the things that a lot of people was asking me about was the witness. And I got a couple of calls this week about the witness, about when can we be witnesses? And this is one, I forget which company. And these are just notes that I took down, or just screenshots from different signing companies and the instructions they give. And a lot of these instructions I guess you get some really good instructions out of the companies in signing order. So this is says South Carolina property closing in Virginia will close with a South Carolina phone attorney. So you got to have an attorney on the phone. Sign docs as printed, collect copy of IDs. Then it goes on and says witnesses are required in the property if the property address is in a witness state. Witness states are Connecticut, which requires two witnesses required. One may be the notary. Florida, 2 witnesses are required. One may be the notary. Georgia, 1 witness is required, cannot be the notary. Louisiana, 2 witnesses required, neither can be the notary. And South Carolina, 2 witnesses required, 1 witness may be the notary. All right. So hold on one second. So that should help you understand whether or not you should be doing or can do a witness. And a lot of people, you'll see, unfortunately, you'll see the witness verbiage on a document. But if you're not in one of those states, or the property address isn't in one of those states, then a witness is not required. But on all Florida properties, you got to have a witness. And unfortunately, sometimes you'll get a loan packet and you're busy and you don't catch that it's a Florida property. And next thing you know, like it happened to me, I show up at the daggone signing, docs in hand, and then I look and I'm like, wait a minute, it's a Florida property. And sure enough, I had to find a witness. And then they told me, we got through it and everything. What's going on? All right, you're in, Marion.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if you were referring to me or not. Good evening. What would you recommend as a new notary? You know how in a lot of these notary groups and like in a notary clubhouse rooms, how they say it's best for you to do a notary resume and everything to send out to these sign agents and stuff like that to introduce yourself and pretty much like advertise and market yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend to put on that resume if you're a new notary, new to the notary business and stuff like that? Because I have my background is in commercial insurance and real estate, so I just became a notary this year and a loan agent. So what would I put on there? And I just did the inspection thing. I just got my background for that as well. But
for Groundworks.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes, sir. But I have no experience in doing either of them. So how would I format my resume as a new notary?
Okay. Well, one of the things that I talk about is, hold on, let me pull this up. Doo-doo-doo-doo. All right, let me. Uh, hold on. Oh, come on, where is it? Let me search. Let me pull this up for you. Oh, you're jumping around. Come on now. All right, where are you? Where are you? I'm just trying to find this one thing here. Let me pull you back over. The main thing is how you write your profile. It's no different than um, doing. Here we go. In my opinion, it's no different than doing like they say, a resume. Um, and what I do is I try to say, I look at it from the standpoint. Think of yourself as a signing company. How would you want? What do you want out of the notary who's coming to work for you? What attributes you want to see in them? So yes, you could say I got 15 years of customer service, but it doesn't mean that you have the temperament or that you understand what you're supposed to do as a notary. So to me, and I could be wrong, I think the number one thing you need to communicate is how well you understand what you're supposed to do as a notary. So whatever it is that which means you understand, not scan back in the documents, you understand that needs to be done, you understand how to properly notarize the documents, you understand communication with the signers. So let me pull this up. Let me share this here. So this here is a community post from 4 months ago called "Your Profile Will Separate You from Them." And as it says, in light of the issues derived from pandemic notaries, it is very, very important to show signing services and direct clients that you are very, very different from the pandemic notaries. Now, I'm the only one that uses that term. They don't call them that. And the question, and then it says here, hold on one second. There we go. And then it says, one clear way to me is to communicate via your profile. And here are some items you should, in my opinion, state: that you arrive at appointments on time, you contact the signers, you do not print the documents double side. Now, these are issues that signing companies have told me specifically that they have with a lot of the new notaries. Signers, will provide the signers a copy of the documents. So if you can express that you understand what your role is as a notary, that should tell them, or at least maybe indicate to them, maybe I'll give you a shot. One of the things I don't have in here, which I probably should update it and add, is that, hey, what's going on, TXB? One of the things I should add in here is that you put down on there that you what was that? Excuse me, y'all, because I got a whole bunch of thoughts running through my mind. One of the things you should put on there is the fact that you took the Notary Essentials and the actual signing agent course, because it's nothing wrong with taking any of those other training courses, but those other training courses are primarily teaching you how to run the business. So you need to communicate that you understand how to do your job as a notary. You need to understand, if you've taken any kind of state training courses with your state, you need to communicate that you've read and you understand your handbook. Those are the kind of things that, in my opinion, you need to communicate to them that you understand. One of the other things, and I'm gonna show y'all in one of the error messages that came up, is that you understand who the non-borrowing spouse is. And a lot of people, and matter of fact, I'm gonna go on and show you that now. One of the issues, I think, I have to pull that. one of the issues is that right here, a lot of people don't understand when there's a non-borrowing spouse. And if you could communicate that you understand that, meaning, like I said, if there's more than one signer on the documents, please look at the note and see who is listed on the signature line of the note. Whoever is listed on the note is the actual borrower. The person that is not listed on the note is referred to as a non-borrowing spouse or title only signer, and will only sign where their names appear, such as the deed of trust or mortgage, right to cancel, etc. If all signers are listed on the note, then they will all sign as normal. So if you can communicate that in your profile, that you understand that, I'm telling you, people will be like, okay, yeah, maybe we need to give her or him a shot, because there's problems right now with borrowers. With signers. With the notaries having the non-borrowing spouse sign documents and sign stuff that they shouldn't be signing. And if you have the spouse who shouldn't be signing on the note, sign the note and sign other documents, then they can't execute those documents and they have to get them redone. So that's why it's important that we understand this as notaries. And this is the stuff that we're supposed to know. And if you don't, and if anybody in here saying, oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, you need to understand this, and you need to communicate that you understand that. What else you got for me, Miss Marion?
I have I have
Go
several.
for it. Take your time.
I don't want to take up everybody. Every other people may have questions, so I don't want to.
Well, when they hop on, we'll get to them. Till then, the floor is yours. Don't rush yourself.
Okay, what the issue I'm having actually, and I've asked other notaries how that they approach it. So my next step was going to be waiting until Monday to probably contact the NNA or something like that, because I've been unable. I have my certificate. I have my commission since like April,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been going on back and forth. I have all my commission. Everything is done uploaded in SnapDocs, but they're not accepting my notary commission, the certificate. And I called the NNA. They said all my credentials are correct and everything like that. But I did the PDF with the commission thing, with the
Mm-hmm.
certificate. Somebody recommended me to do a JPEG. I did that as well. And then somebody advised me to go to the Florida state itself to pull it from the state site and upload it. And they're still telling me it's not correct. So I have no idea.
And they're not telling you what's not correct.
No, sir. And I only been chatting back and forth in the many chats and emails back and forth in the same thing. They're not accepting it. So I have no idea. I don't want to give up, but it's getting very discouraging right now and stuff. And I know Snapback is not the only service that I can sign up for, but it's kind of like disappointing a little bit, because it's been going on since literally April and
Mm-hmm.
it's going into August right now.
Well, some of these companies, I don't know what the deal is with them. So, and I'm showing you this here. This is my profile on Signing Agent through Xome, Xome. They're saying that I need to show them that that my credentials are current off of Signing Agent. Off of signingagents.com. Well, when I gave them a screenshot of it, it says when I pass these items, the 21st, the 8th, the 20th, the 28th, and all of that of 2021. So that means they're good until a year later. They keep saying, no, that's not right. You need to show us when they expire. I'm like, well, on this site, it doesn't show you the expiration, except for when my NNA membership, but it doesn't show you the other stuff. They're like, well, we want to see. It says, when was it completed? So they're looking for the actual expiration date to show. And I'm like, it doesn't show on here. So there's people that are on these platforms working that may not understand fully, and they're just following a template and saying it should look like this, it should look like that, it should smell like this. And because it doesn't have this, that, or the other, and they're not using critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and logic. And if it doesn't fit the narrative, then they're like, No, just like when I do, that's why when, people fill out the proceeds, that they're getting proceeds back. And if they're doing a check, they're like, well, my address is up there at the top. Yes, and it's asking for your address there too, because you may have some 20-something-year-old or somebody who's new in the, in their out processing or post processing, and all they know is they're supposed to look for these three things on this document. And if they don't see those three things, they put it off in a pile somewhere saying it's not complete. So that's how you have to have your mind. You got to realize that some of these people are looking at stuff and they've been told, look for this, look for that, look for that. You got it? Yes. And if they don't see those things, nope, it's invalid. And maybe they can tell you, I don't know if they're looking for the actual certificate with the seal on it. I don't know. It's sort of jacked up. But I mean, that could be what they're doing, looking for that instead. But again, they need to actually tell you what it is that they believe they want so that you can give it to them and everything.
Yeah, that's correct. Because I can't reach a live person. Everything is via that chat thing, and so it's
Correct.
had an email, and so I just waited till Monday to see what they come up with now, and then like I said, I don't want to give up, but it's just disappointing.
Mm-hmm. What else you got, lady?
Okay, I have plenty because like I
Go
said.
for it. Go for it.
Okay, my next thing, what do you recommend like to for the to log and pretty much keep note of your notarial acts and stuff like that for those like your signings and your general notary work? What like that? I heard of different ones like I think it's Notary Earth and like different platforms
Right. Mm-hmm.
track your stuff. What would you recommend?
I use right now. I'm using Notary Assist and Notary in SnapDocs. So everything that I have is in SnapDocs. Okay. Everything that I have that I've done for the last 4 years is in SnapDocs. That's why I was able to pull down that Excel spreadsheet that I did a couple of the other day showing all of the orders that I did. So I put everything in there. And I started using this first before I even heard about Notary Assist Gadget and all of that. There's nothing wrong with any of them. They all work, in my opinion, fine. You have to determine which one works best for you. Now, what I do know is that each one of them, they offer you like a so many signings trial. So I would say sign up for all three and put your first, let's say 15 signings in all three of them. And then take a look and see how you like the interactions and all of that with all three. And then decide, okay, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use that one. Now, a lot of people have said, don't put your stuff in SnapDocs because SnapDocs is stealing clients and stealing this and stealing that. I don't know. But what I do know is that signing companies look in SnapDocs and they look for notaries and they look to see if you are doing work. Notaries have told me, and if there's a notary that's on the chat, that's in this live, please, if you are, hop in and let us know, because I know there's a couple of y'all who said that y'all started putting your orders in SnapDocs and then you started getting more notifications from SnapDocs. I know notaries who have like 75 orders and they haven't put a single one in SnapDocs and they don't get any orders, because if it's an algorithm based system and you don't have anything in your profile or in your queue showing that you even doing any work, then the algorithm's like, okay, you're at zero. There's no need for us to show you because you ain't doing any work. You're just on the platform. So any one of those three options, Earth, Assist, Gadget, should work for you from the tax purpose perspective. And the thing is with Notary Assist, I mean, with all of those three, those orders aren't showing up in SnapDocs, so nobody knows what you're doing. And then another thing with SnapDocs, and this is something that a lot of people, and I always try to get people to understand, is that in SnapDocs, what they do is they show you. So I don't know if my eye pop up in here, but we'll just take this guy here. So it says that he has 277 SnapDoc completed orders, but he may have done 15,000 or 10,000 or 5,000. But SnapDoc only shows what you did directly through them. That's why I encourage people to actually write in your profile how many signings you've done. So when they read your profile, they can see that you've done this many signings, because SnapDocs is only going to show you or show them the orders that you did that directly came through them. And I think that's unfair, because if you're putting all those orders in, to me, it should show all the orders you put in. So I got over 1,200 orders, which in and of itself is small compared to other notaries, but it only shows about 4, maybe 500 of them came through SnapDocs. So if I just left it like that, they would just look at, oh, okay, you only done 5. You've been in this business 4 years. You've only done 4 or 500. And you might have some experience, but you might just be fiddle-faddling around. So that's why I encourage people to put them in there. But you're going to hear people say, don't do it. It's not good. All of that. All I can say is this: give it a try, see what happens. It may work, it may not, but I've heard people say it's worked for them. Anybody in the, on the live had any experience with that? Hold on. And what else you got, young lady?
Okay. Like that, your Excel spreadsheet. I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
throw it out there because I have another question to follow behind that, a real question. But are you do you have a video? I've watched your videos, but do you have a video with you explain it? Well, I'm not an Excel person, but I know I need to transfer myself to Excel instead of like writing down, which I desire to. I've been to YouTube University, but I'm still not clicking. So, are you
Mm-hmm.
offering like a little Excel tutorial thing?
Oh, I have. Shoot, I am not the Excel person. I am not. I mean, I'm not using Excel to keep track of my stuff. I
Okay.
only downloaded Excel because in I'll show, hold on, let me show you. I have to. All right, gotta show you. So it shows you like this here's what's outstanding. And then this here is what I've done the whole time that I put in and that has been received. So, so as it says, received. Okay. So all of this is stuff that has been received. And you can filter it in here by saying, okay, I want everything from this date, to that date. And then you hit, that. You see what I'm saying? So you can filter it and then you can download that this as a spreadsheet. Okay. So that's what you're able to do here. Not, and I'm not saying, you should be able to do the same in one of the Notary Assist gadgets and all of that. But I'm not using Excel spreadsheet, setting up an Excel spreadsheet to track anything. Mm-mm. I am not doing that whatsoever. Nah.
Okay, understood. So, my next question is, I mean, anybody can jump in too. I don't want to take up the whole um
Take
it,
your time.
the whole show. For my next question, because you know how like a lot of these seasoned notaries and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
they're in these Facebook chats or either on Clubhouse, they tell you forever like saying that sign up for like 80 to 100 sign-in services, all these different things. Do you recommend to sign up for so many of them? Do you think it's really that necessary to sign up for so many of them?
Um, where is it? One of where's my playlist? All right. Um, in this playlist called Notary Basics, right here, got a
Mhm.
video called 100, 300, 500 signing service. Does it work? And what I'm saying basically in there, in a nutshell, the services have to be doing business in your area. A couple of years ago, Jimmy John's had a commercial saying that if you was within a certain distance from their store, they gave you a guarantee, like a certain time period guarantee that you would get your food within this amount of time. But the moment you was outside of that area, they can't guarantee that you're going to get your food in this amount of time or less. So with these signing services, you have to ask them, are you doing business in my area? One of the companies that I originally signed up for when I first started was Prestige Notaries. Prestige Notaries is connected to Notary Dash. And one day I realized, I said, you know what? Out of 2 years, I've only gotten like one notification from them. So I contacted them and I asked them, I said, hey, how come I'm not getting any notifications from y'all? And then they told me straight up, they're like, oh, we really don't have any orders down in your area. I was like, okay, but y'all had me sign up for y'all, you know. And it was like, yeah, but we really don't have any orders in your area. And where they had orders at was Williamsburg, which was a little bit more than an hour away. And at the time that I started getting, and then all of a sudden, I noticed that then after I emailed them and had this little back and forth, then all of a sudden I started getting notifications for Williamsburg. And of course, I had to say no to all of them because at the time I was working my full-time job. So I just did not have the time to actually go and do those. So I was like, okay, I can't do them. So I had to decline. And then as time went by, I don't get any more notifications from Prestige Notaries. So the bottom line is, the question is, do they operate in your area? If they do, cool. You know, I mean, it's just that simple. So you may have to ask them, but it's hard to get in contact with some of these companies. So you can sign in. A lot of people say, well, sign up for the off chance that they might get that one order. Well, if they really, in some companies, my very first order came from a company called Metropolitan Home Loan, I think, Metropolitan Home something. And they was out there in California, and they found me on the signingagents.com site, which is the NNA site. They went and searched and found me on that site. Brand new, had never done anything, gave me my first order.
Oh wow. Mm.
So Notary Resume, SnapDocs, all of these sites, you can actually, you know, they can actually search and find notaries. Many notaries on here can attest that all of a sudden out of nowhere, their mind, you know, they get signed up. I mean, get, you know, their signing agent training thing. They get, you know, verified, got the insurance. And then all of a sudden they start getting these notifications. And a lot of them are like from coast to coast saying, hey, you want to do this debt settlement? You want to do this loan mod? And you're like, well, I haven't even signed up for SnapDocs. I haven't signed up for signing. I haven't signed up for anybody. Well, they're pulling your name off of signingagents.com. How that goes about doing it, how they know whether or not you brand new, I have no idea. But they got some kind of agreement that they can look on there and say, oh, okay, we just got 15 new notaries in this area. Send them debt settlement, send them loan mods. And I honestly think they're doing that on purpose so that they can test you out and see where you're at. And if they offer you a loan mod, which is most of the time less than 20 pages, and it's a $30 or $40 loan mod, and you're like, well, nah, I need 175. That's going to tell them right there, okay, we ain't messing with you. You can't even you ain't even done nothing, and you sitting up here already claiming that you got to get, paid a grip. Now we might need to. Now we're gonna put you off to the side and everything. So again, people will argue and say, "Hey, Griff, you're wrong. It worked for me, and it could have worked for them. Signed up for 500, but if I'm not mistaken, for every company that you sign up for, when you redo your credentials every year, that's 500 companies that you got to send your credentials out to and update it in all 500. Because I don't think it's just a one-time thing where I just signed up in y'all for one time. Every year you got to update your SnapDoc. Every year you got to update your signing order. Every year you got to do signature closers, Notary Go, CX Choice. Every year you got to update them with your new credentials. So now you're talking about signing up for 80, 100, 200, 300. How many days is that going to take you to go and update all of those companies? And then you realize that you hadn't heard anything from any of those companies in the past year. 80% of them hadn't even sent you anything, but now you got to spend a whole weekend updating your credentials with them for another year of them not sending you anything. So I suggest that you just call them and say, hey, Earl Jones Signing Company, do y'all do business in our area? If so, how much business do you do? What are your busy years? Parts of the year. I mean, it's a simple question. It doesn't hurt to ask. Instead of just hoping and wishing, just go in and ask them. Hey, what do y'all got going on? And see what they say. And if they say, well, nah, we really don't. All right, then there's no need for me to worry about signing up for you if you really don't have any orders here. What else you got?
Okay, this may be my final question. What's the best advice you can give a new notary that's starting out? Your best advice you can give to them.
To make sure you fully and completely understand your notary laws for your state, and to fully and completely understand how to properly notarize a document. If you have those two things down, you will be successful. That is, in my opinion, the bottom line truth. I can't think of any reason that you couldn't be successful if you understood your notary laws and understood. Let me see here. Oh, I know where it's at. There you go. And understand all of your, understood how to properly notarize. If you got that down pat, you can't tell me you can't be successful in this business. Okay. I mean, it's just simply put, because where is it? I'm going to show you something. So like right here, this is a document, fake name in there. All of this stuff been modified. So don't think that it's somebody's real name. If this is somebody named Ebony Tyree Johnson, girl, I didn't even know you. All right. But here's one of the issues. Sometimes on these documents, they will not have the person's name in there. And they will have, in this case, I've got to put, they will have just the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me, this, the date that it was acknowledged, and who it was acknowledged by. We never put our name after the word by. It is their name. They are the ones acknowledging. As I said in my other video, there's content and then they sign. Once they sign, then we notarize. And we are saying that the instrument was acknowledged. What instrument? This instrument. In this case, this is the deed. So the deed was acknowledged. How did they acknowledge it? By signing it. Hopefully they read it. Hopefully they understood everything that's in there. And by them signing it, they're saying, I understand, comprehend, and agree to the terms, conditions, and everything else in this document. And it's also considered an instrument. So the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me on this date by Ebony Tyree Johnson. And I was trying to find, that's why it took me so long to get on. But there was actually instructions that I came across where it said the notaries are supposed to put the borrower's name here, not their name. So if you understand how to properly notarize a document according to your state laws, you're good. Because when you get the documents, that's the main reason why you're there. Now, if you want to try to explain the documents and break stuff down and show them different sections, that's on you. Okay. You go ahead on, you can do that. But you most definitely better do this and make sure that this is right. Because if this ain't right, that document's not getting executed. And if that person is trying to pull money out of their house to take care of some kind of family issue, and you don't do the notarizations correctly on here, you can mess them up. And several of the last, I would say maybe 5 or 6 closings that I've done this month, might be more, they was doing cash outs. And I'm not talking about a little cash out. I'm talking about $100,000 or more cash out. 75,000 cash out. 14,000. They taking this money out. Prior to the last month or so, everybody was actually just refinancing for the lower rate. Now people are refinancing and pulling money out. Why? I have no idea. I'm not going to ask them why they pulling money out. But that's what I've seen. I know I've seen at least 5 this month. 5 people pull money out from 14,000 to over 100,000. So if this isn't done right, and the other notarial areas isn't done right, the deal doesn't go through. Everything is all stopped until this is straight. So my best advice, know your notarial laws, because remember, you raised your hand and said that you solemnly swore or affirmed under penalty of perjury for your state or commonwealth that you will follow the rules, laws, and guidelines of that state concerning being a notary. You swore an oath. You didn't swear an oath to your notary trainer. You didn't swear an oath to the NNA. You didn't swear an oath to any signing company or title company. You have agreements with them, but you didn't swear an oath. You swore an oath to follow the notarial laws of your state. So therefore, you're responsible and accountable to know those things so that you can execute these documents correctly so that the person can get whatever benefit they're trying to get out of it. That's the best piece of advice I can give anybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody in the chat. Listen, Griff, earlier today you had mentioned you had a seller's package, right? And you were saying there
Mm-hmm.
was a couple of papers that you wasn't familiar with, and you had to call them and see what they were. Can you
Mm-hmm.
kind of briefly explain that that particular, not the signing, but the papers? What was it? How many pages? How long it took you to get it done? That sort of thing.
The page was one of them was the W-9. And the issue, and I never heard back from the people. The issue was that there was only one W-9 and it was two sellers. So I was like, okay, do both of them? Do I need to print a second one? Then there was a 1099S, which looks like the W-9. So when I got there, I mentioned it to, I showed him the document. He said, oh, yeah. I guess they already talked to him about it. And he was the one that was supposed to fill it out. So I was like, okay, hold on one second. I may be able, let me see something here. 1099. It's all kinds in here. I don't see the layout. I don't see it. Let me see if I can find his, because it was a very, very simple form. Hold on one second. I need this so I can see which company he was, and that guy was. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was that new company, I think. Hold on one sec. Oops. Wrong file. Oh, there it is. That's right. They called it untitled. Hold on one second, party people. Just making sure there's no personal information on here. It was this form here. It's a 1099S. It looks just like the W-9. And he was supposed to fill it out. So I wasn't sure. Okay, is he filling it out? Is she? I knew both of them couldn't sign one document. I knew that. I knew both of them couldn't sign just the one. So I just, I sent a note to them. I never heard anything back. And I just went, I got there and I said, okay. And what I meant to do was print a second one of both, but I forgot. And I said, when I get there, we'll figure it out. And if push came to shove, we'll just call the loan officer or the title company. But they needed to, but he said, yeah, he knew what to do with this. And he filled all of this out and everything was straight and stuff. And then somewhere in there was a W-9 form that he had to fill out. So he did both of those. It just caught me off guard that it was only one in there. Let me see here. Yeah. And then
How many
this
pages?
here.
How many
This
pages?
is
Go ahead.
52. You can see right there, 52.
I can't. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was only 52 pages for the seller's package. Now I've had seller's packages that were more than 52. I've had seller packages that were well over 100. and and on that one, it was well over 100 because they added they added the person who was buying the property. I mean, who was selling the property. So it was a purchase, and the young lady was signing, and her documents, her stuff was small, but they added the seller's stuff in there, the documents that the seller was supposed to sell. So I ended up printing both of them, which I really should have only had to print one, but I was thinking it was all one. And I said, man, this is an awful lot of pages. But once I got to looking through it, I was like, oh, okay, they added both parties in there, which I had never seen before.
No, okay. I was just asking. Thanks.
All right. Anybody else got any questions? So let's go back. So as I was talking here, as you see here, like this one here, this here is talking about the uploading. Now, I'm going to have to make that a little bit bigger. This here's a key fact. The paralegals will upload the documents as soon as they get them from the lender. If docs are not uploaded in time for you to arrive at the scheduled closing time, please work out a time that works for you and the borrowers. So that's why it's important for you to read the instructions so you can understand how they expect you to operate. So this is also telling you that from time to time, I guess, depending on the company, their people get the documents from someone else. And as I talked about earlier during the time I've been on YouTube, I said, when you understand the loan process, the title company and the lenders, they got to get their act together so that they can get the documents to the right people, which is the signing company, which then they get it to the notary. A lot of people are blasting the signing companies and coming down on them, saying these documents are wrong, this is wrong, they're late, but they're not the ones putting the documents together. It's the lender and it's the title company or escrow settlement company. Those are the ones who are doing the documents wrong. Because if you ever had a chance to really talk to any of these signing companies, or they would tell you, we're just a middle person. All we are is the person who's supposed to receive the documents. We get them to you. We find the notaries. We just do the connection. That's it. So that's why I'm saying people talking about, oh, I'm going to start me a signing company. Your behind better be ready for all of these notaries out here who your buddies are to be coming at you when the docs are late, when the docs aren't right, when the numbers aren't right. They don't blame the lender. They blame the signing company. Just like you who wants to start a signing company are blaming the signing company. They're going to blame you. They're going to come right at you and say, hey, you ain't doing this right. So that's why it's important for you to understand the process. This industry, as I've said over and over and over again, it is late, last minute by nature. And if that's the nature of this business, and I'm gonna say this, I know probably get blasted by people by saying this, but to me, if the only way you can do a signing is that you have to have every single signing document 3 or 4 days before you do the signing, to me, that shows a lack of confidence in your ability to do what you've been paid to do, what you commissioned to do, which is notarize the documents. Now, if you're not confident in how you're going to present and give some kind of spiel about the document when you technically really don't have to, you need to throw that out the window, in my opinion. What you need to be focused on is making sure that you understand how to notarize those documents. Because if you understand how to notarize those documents, it don't matter when you get the documents, you know what to do. Because one, if there's a problem with the documents, you're going to call the title company. You're going to call the lender. You're going to reach out to somebody to get some information. And since they came to you last minute anyway, it's not your fault if something is jacked up. It's not your fault. How can it be your fault if you got a 4:00 sign and they get you the documents at 4:15, and you're like, it's on me. How is it on you? What's on you is your ability to actually execute the documents according to the oath that you took, the training that you took concerning being a notary. That's on you. But everything else is going on. Well, the document numbers was wrong, and the borrowers was upset, and they was crying. And okay, I'm not being insensitive. I'm like, I didn't make them cry. That wasn't me. That wasn't me who made them cry. That wasn't you. That was the loan officer who didn't do something right. Okay. Or it could be the borrower. The borrower probably didn't do something or forgot. Like one lady, we're in the signing and she's sitting there fussing about her interest rate should have been down into the 1% range. She had it all wrong. And in the middle of her arguing back and forth with the real estate agent, she was like, "Oh, never mind. Let's keep going. Never mind. Forget it. Don't worry about it." And I'm looking at her, and all of a sudden I could see it like just clicked in her head, like, "Oh, I got that all wrong. Never mind." But she wouldn't admit. She wouldn't admit that she did something wrong. She just like, "Let's proceed," and then just hung up on the real estate agent and kept going. I'm like, okay, so there's a lot of different reasons things can go wrong. The thing is, it can't, if it's not your fault, don't trip. Don't trip. Just be relaxed, just chill, and everything will fall in order. So now, like this here, I'm gonna bring this up nice and big for y'all. So this one simply says what? Let me bring that down just a touch. I had to bring it up. All right, sorry. Yeah. It says you have no authority to make decisions or give advice at the closing table. You have no authority. Let me put it in my radio voice. You have no authority to make decisions or give advice at the closing table. Okay. I hope that resonated with y'all. Okay. Try to throw a little extra bass in there. You have no authority to make decisions or give advice at the closing table. I don't know what it's going to take for notaries to understand this, that you have a particular role. And from the get-go, I was always taught when it came to us as notaries, we have a particular role and we have to operate within those guidelines. The loan officer, the escrow, the processor, the underwriter, everybody has a role, and should be a well-oiled machine. It's a machine. How well oiled it is, but it's a machine, and everybody has to operate within the confines of what they are trained in. Now, the moment you become a title producer or a closing agent, along with being a notary, but then at the same time, the question is, what did they hire you to do? Did they hire you as a closing agent, or did they hire you as a notary? So even though you may know certain information, if your role you're playing is notary, then that's where it has to be at. Okay. That's wrong one. That's where it has to be. I did that one. Okay, I did that one. Now this one here, not a set of instructions. But this client, I forget which company this is, but they're telling you straight up, scanbacks are required for the first 3 signings. After 3 error-free signings, we will remove the scanback requirement and add you to our approved notary list. So people are always talking about, and I know notaries are always calling people, hey, make me your preferred, make me your preferred. And like one company told me, they said, how am I gonna make you preferred and you ain't even done nothing? This company is giving you guidelines and giving you a way to make their approved notary list. Do 3 error-free signings. After 3, so you might do 1, then mess around and have 6 messed up, and then another one, and then 8 messed up. So I guess after you get 3 error-free, maybe in a row, then they'll remove that requirement. But if they ask you to scan back, you got to scan back. And they want to do that because y'all have to understand. Let me come back to y'all. One of the things y'all have to understand is that these companies, if you're a signing company, you are trying to work with all of these clients and prove yourself to them that you have some of the best notaries in the industry. And the better the notaries perform that are working with that signing company, the more business that signing company can get. But when you are being a pandemic notary, jackleg notary, acting all crazy, that makes that company look bad. It makes them look bad, and then company's not going to want to deal with them. And let's just say you're in an area where there's not a lot of other companies, and it's only 4 or 5 signing companies, and then you and the other notaries are jacking stuff up, and then that company loses its client base, and it's like, okay, well, I can't even do business in this area no more because I can't rely on the notaries. So now you're down from 4 companies to 3 companies. That's why it's important for you to do stuff correctly. Let's see here. And the link is there. Da-da-da-da. So like this one, it simply says closing time is not to be changed. Closing has already been confirmed. If no response from the signer, proceed to closing. Use blue ink. Fully signed package must be scanned back and uploaded to signing order for review and approval before dropping. With FedEx, employee cannot be taken to a FedEx box. Must be a location with a receipt. If drop will be missed due to scans, please contact, I think this is Network Transaction Solutions, immediately for approval to skip scans. I talked to y'all about this. There are notaries who sit up there and like, oh, I'm gonna just skip the scan and say that I couldn't scan and make the drop at the same time. Don't do that. Contact the people so you can find out. This is the kind of stuff that's going on. And some of these instructions were not in there a year and a half ago. Some of them probably were, but a lot of them weren't in there. I'm trying to think. I think, yeah, that was it. That was all the instructions that I had pulled up to just show y'all, just to give y'all an idea, just a summary idea of what some of the stuff that's going on. Now, let me look at the comments. Now, I know because as many phone calls as I get, I know some of y'all got questions. So look, this is a safe place. This isn't those Facebook groups where people going to be coming at you and belittling you because you asking a question. So you are in a safe place. You can ask your questions, even if it's been asked before, even if, don't worry about what somebody, none of that. Ask your question. That's why I put the link in there. Hop on the link and ask your question so that you can learn and we all can learn. Okay. We got 42 people in here. I don't know how many. I know, and make sure y'all, if y'all can, hit that like button because YouTube has been doing their little tripping thing and not, pushing out videos and stuff, notifications for people unless the like button is hit and everything. So yeah, we got 30 likes. I appreciate that. All right, what other comment? Okay, you're in California. What are trailing documents and their significance? Okay, great question. Great question. Trailing documents are documents that need to be re-signed or probably never got signed or there was an error with them. Could be a deed. Like they paid me $50 the other day to get one deed signed. So what was wrong with it? The original, I have no idea. What was corrected in what I was given, I have no idea. Trailing documents, meaning these are documents that are coming up the rear, coming from behind, that either got skipped, they might have been missed, something was notarized incorrectly. It could be a variety of things. So they are needed in order for this loan packet to get processed. So if they say, hey, here's trailing docs, needs to be done. Those are the ones sometimes that can open the door for you to get in good with these companies to do these trailing docs. Okay. You can, because just think of it. Nobody wants to do the trailing docs because they're only offering $25, maybe $50. And you see trailing docs and it's like, okay. And I mean, I do those. I've done them and I'm like, all right, cool. Matter of fact, I did one for free because it was just to retake a picture. It was to take a picture of the lady's green card. For whatever reason, it was the green card and then it was some other card. So I did the green card, but she had this other card that they needed to have because she wasn't I think she was a permanent resident or wasn't. So I went over to the house and knocked it out. And they asked me, and I think it was with Coast to Coast. And they said, how much you want for it? And I was like, nothing, because it was barely 5 minutes from my house. And in my mind, I just couldn't come up with a price to charge. Now, that'll be the next question. If they come and ask you, what do you want to get paid? That's up to you. You decide that across the board. Boy, that tea is good. You decide that for yourself. And negotiate, you can negotiate with them. Just keep in mind, trailing docs, they might not pay 100, no 150, none of that kind of stuff. But then you're not going to accept $10 or $20. So you got your range to look at, more than 20, less than 100, and go from there. Yeah. Now, a gentleman, and I don't know if he's on tonight, but he was asking me about, in the comment section earlier today, about scanners, about why I didn't have my scanner with me in the car. The reason why I didn't have my scanner with me in the car, and I had 5 closings a day, and I had to do scan backs on 4 of them. The reason why is because I don't know how durable these scanners are sitting in a car that's 100 or 150 degrees temperature. I don't know if they built for that. Now, they work fine in the wintertime or when it's cool outside the fall, but it was 90 degrees a day. And I was like, I didn't want to take a chance of the printer or my computer. I'm in a signing for an hour, and the temperature in that car, gets up to over 100 degrees. It could really mess your computer up, your electronics up. So I didn't want to take a chance. I really didn't want to take a chance on the equipment getting damaged. And now, since there's this global computer chip shortage, if the computer chip gets fried, man, I'm done. I'm not going to be able to get probably another scanner. Scanners for rent, you would have to talk to your local business office place. So like if you work in a W-2 and there's a guy that comes in there to do the maintenance on the printer, you probably want to talk to him or her and say, hey, what do y'all do? Do y'all rent printers, or do you know where I can rent a printer or a scanner from? You can ask them, those people, any kind of computer repair people or computer installation, computer companies that do, that work with businesses. They would know. They would have the answer for you. So you would be able to ask them, and they could tell you whether or not they they know somebody. But I looked into it briefly, but them things expensive. I mean, my thing is, if you're going to end up paying more, you buy a printer right now for $600. Depending on how much work you're doing, you're going to get over 100,000 pages out of it. As long as you take good care of it, you're going to get plenty of pages. So you pay $600 for it. It lasts you 3, maybe 4 years, versus you renting a printer and you paying $1,000, $1,200 a year. Now, if that's what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you have the revenue coming in. Just like with me with renting the car. There's nothing wrong with me renting the car as long as I got the revenue to support it. That's the key. So as long as you got the revenue to support it, you good. How much money do you put down in your journal? I don't put down the dollar amount in there. I mean, you can go back and do it. I don't do it in front of them. And most notaries, from what I understand, they don't do it in front of the signer. They don't do it in front of the signers. And then you say, what's a reasonable price for a scanner? It's far below $500, preferably far below $400. But I would say a scanner that can do 40 pages or more a minute, because that is, I won't say very fast. That is fast. I know I've seen them between 40 and 60 pages a minute. Of course, the higher, the faster pages, the more pages it do per minute, the more it's going to cost you. And I don't see any, when you start getting down into 10 pages a minute, 20 pages a minute, that's going to take you forever. And like today, I had 5 signings. Then my last one, the last 3 were Snapbacks. No, I'm sorry. 2 of them, the last 2. The last 2 were Snapbacks. No, the 9, 10, or 4 of them were Snapbacks. So I had 3 Snapbacks to do. It would have took me forever. And I was able to come home, get them scanned real quick, upload them to the portal, and then get out and then get my house inspections done. You can almost measure, 40 pages a minute, 150 pages. Okay, this is going to take me 40. That's 3 minutes. It's 150. So that's 10, 20, 30. So you're talking about maybe 4 minutes versus 10 pages a minute. Does the signer signature have to match whatever the ID? That, to me, that's could be a little touchy, because if the person doesn't, even though, like me, on my driver's license, it has my middle name spelled out, but I don't spell out my middle name when I sign. So if the title company puts my middle name down and then I refuse to sign with my middle name spelled out, what do? You have to contact the title company and say, hey, Griff don't want to sign with his middle name spelled out, especially if they say they have to. Now, there's some companies that says they don't care how the person sign. So there's some companies that says, like, I believe it's Simple Signings. They're like, hey, they can sign however. They're not tripping on that. Other companies, they're more specific. So you have to, so if you're really concerned about it, give them a call the title company so you can get the proper guidance. And then you can share that with the borrower and say, hey, the title company told me. And then I would also ask them to put it in writing to you. You have to sign exactly as it's printed. Middle name, all of that kind of stuff included. That's what you have to do. Now, you'll come across some people that are like, I don't like my name, Mary Beth Ann. I don't like my name, whatever, Kalili, or Earl Jones. You got people named Earl Jones, Samuel Earl Jones Griffin. And he's like, I don't like Earl Jones, but it's in there. So what happens from my understanding, listening to loan officers talk about this to the borrower, they've told me that sometimes that what it is, how their name is on the title documents dictates how the signature line is. So if their name is, whatever, Aloysius, it's going to be like that on those signature lines. Now, the sad part is, in my opinion, during the loan application part, they don't require them, or they don't make it a big deal how they sign. I got a loan application to do tomorrow. I got to see how they supposed to sign. And the loan application, they're like, yeah, just get it signed. And they don't care. But then on the closing, they're like, you got to be this way. So long answer to that short question. The bottom line is this: check with the title company. Ask them if the people don't want to comply with what you're asking them to do, which is sign your name exactly how it is, then call the title company. So you made a comment about Snapbacks and uploading to the portal. What is uploading to the portal? I haven't done one yet. I'm confused about uploading to the portal. Uploading to the portal is where you got these SnapDocs, the signing agent. That's what that is. Where you got your order from. That is the portal. Your document portal. That's where you got your documents from. That's what they're talking about. That is where you upload your documents to. So let me see here. Hold on one brief moment. All right. All right. Okay, just hiding their personal information. All right. So as you see, this is where on signing order, where I put the scan backs. I scan them and I drop them here. You can drag and drop, or you can click add files. Once everything's done, you hit scan backs, upload complete. And yes, if you hit this button, you can add additional files. That has happened to me a lot of times where I uploaded files, hit scan back complete. Oh man, I forgot to add this one, and then upload the other one. You can do that. So this is where closing package complete. You boom. Once the closing package is complete, you scan it, IDs, all of that right here. That's what you do. And that's on signing order. SnapDocs has a similar area. Let me see if I can. SnapDocs. A little harder. Hold on one second. All right. All right. So in SnapDocs, similar. You have the area here. Drop the documents, or you click click to add the file. All of that. Is that easy? All right, lady. Hang it. Yeah, okay. long as you got the money to pay for it, because they'll just send it to you. As long as you got the money, you should be okay. If you bootstrapping, just reminded me to talk to y'all about something too. If you're bootstrapping and things, even though I'm doing good with the business, there's certain things I don't want to be automatically extracting money, because because then that means it has to sit there and decide, look at your printer and all of that and say, oh, we think you're low. So guess what? We're going to go ahead on and order ink for you. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if they always order it based on the sales price, because sometimes I will get that toner for like 116. Now, I have the business account with Amazon. So I will get the business discount pricing with Amazon. And sometimes that daggone printer, that toner, that bad boy, they'll drop the price on that, and it will end up being low. So like right now, let me share this with y'all. So like right now, the toner is 126, and then the drum is 123. So like over here, you got the 215 divided by 2. What I would end up doing is buying the 2. I would end up buying the 2. And I've done that twice, as you see, because doing that ends up coming out to 107 and 50 cents. You see what I'm saying? So unless the auto shipping thing's going to look for that kind of good deal for you. Oh, my number. There's my number. So if they offer, a good deal on this, then yeah. Where is it? Yeah. My folders, the paper right now is a little high at 91. If it's down in the 60s, I'll get it. But as I shared with y'all on this site, Zerby.com, they have the Boise X9 right here, legal. Right now it's $59. So Amazon is selling that same paper. And I bought it when it was in the 60s before I found out about Zerby. So, okay, so right now it's 91. So my business pricing will be 65. That still ain't bad. That's basically saying $6.50 a ream. So, I mean, if I didn't know about Zerby, then I would hop on this here. I would get it here. But this is where I've been getting my paper from. Same exact paper. Why is it cheaper? Don't know. I got 2 cases left. I just brought in to the house 1 case. So I had 3. I got 2 in storage. I get my other paper from Walmart, my letter from Walmart and all of that. Yeah. And I've heard about that getting discounts. I never looked into the discounts from Staples and all of that and everything. Okay. Job board on signing order. I clicked on an order. They never gave it to me. Yeah, I clicked on it. They never gave it to me. So I don't know what's going on with that daggone thing. I mean, I do like the whatchamacallit, the upgraded listing that I pay for $2.99, and I'm doing the $5.99, being able to do the unlimited, things for the job board. But right now, it's not looking like it's working to me. So I'm probably gonna cancel that $5.99 going to them. I don't see where it's working. I really don't, and I applied for at least 3 or 4 jobs and didn't get not one of them. No notification, no, hey, we assigned nothing. So I know Notary Go started doing one. I never tried it out. I heard from some people that they get all of their orders off of there. They get up first thing in the morning and go there and look, and maybe that's something that needs to happen on the signing order one. Get up and like first thing in the morning and hop on there and see what you can do. Okay, so she clicked on 18, got 2. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yours better than mine. I wasn't getting nothing. And then, yeah, I heard about the chat on Notary Go doesn't work. Yeah, I heard Notary Go was having some problems. Heard it was having some problems and everything. So, there was a couple other things that I want to. Oh, banks. As many of you know, Square has now, and my wife was the one telling me about it because she does all of her stuff through Square. Square is now, I guess, a full-fledged bank. Business checking, business savings, the whole 9 yards. If you don't have a true business account, you need to get one. Go look at Square, get you a business account with them. I use Square for all my general notary, all of it. When I have to invoice, through Square. Now, if somebody wants to pay me through Cash App and all of that, I'll accept it. And I know there's notaries that say, nah, they don't do that. And that's fine. Because it wasn't my goal, to be honest, to use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal to collect money, when it came to general notary. That was not my goal. But there was a guy out in California. Cool. And he had some divorce papers he need done. I did them, and the only way he had the ability to pay was that way, So I said, okay, I had to set up a Venmo account real quick. He asked me, did I have one? I was like, yeah, I got one, but let me go dig up my password. I haven't used it in a while. I ain't had one. I went, got the thing set up, paid me 30 some bucks for doing this, for doing the divorce papers with his ex. I was like, all right, cool. I got people, their way of paying Cash App, scan the barcode, boom, pay me that way. I'm fine with it. And then I transfer all that money to my checking account. So I have record of what it was for, and it goes into my business checking account. The problem comes when you start putting that money into other accounts that's not associated with your business. That's where the problem comes in at. But every check that I get in, all my money I put into the business account so that they can see. And that's what I was talking about the other day. When you're talking about trying to get business credit, you have to have accounts receivable, what they call sometimes AR. You have to have those accounts receivable showing money coming in. So as I was showing y'all earlier, hold on. So over here in SnapDocs, under the accounting portion, This is showing what's outstanding. Now, put yourself in the shoes of a credit lender. Would you be more willing to loan me money or to note, because you know I got that money coming in? That's guaranteed. You know I got that coming in. So you say, well, look, I'll give you a line of credit of $2,000. Matter of fact, I'll give you a line of $3,000 because you got $6,000 coming in. And you got other work waiting in the wings. So yeah, you know what? I can do I can hit you up, you know. So then they look and I show them, say, okay, well, here's what I got coming up. Here's the orders that I got coming up. The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're looking at that 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, $700. So almost $1,000 right there. So now you're talking about over $7,000 outstanding. Okay. $7,000 coming down the pipe. Okay. Yeah. You know what? We can loan you, we can do some business credit with you. And they don't care whether it's a $60 order or a $100 order, $150 or $300. All they care about is, do you have money coming in? Because if you got money coming in, then we know we can get paid back. And we know that if you decide not to pay us, then we can go and hit that account up and extract that money. If you want to play hardball, because we're going to have you sign an agreement saying that if you don't pay us by this date, we can automatically take that money out. So, but if you don't have money coming in, that's why checks written out to you. The checks written out to you, you make sure that you you deposit them, then take the money out. Uncle Griff, do you take orders where the signer's phones beep, but there's no voicemail or anything? I did not take the order. Not sure if I fully understand. Do I take orders where the signer phones beep? So you mean after the order, I call them? So because they don't answer, do I just cancel the order and say I ain't going to do it because I can't get in contact with them? Is that what you're saying? Because a lot of times, I mean, you may not be able to get in contact with them. And remember, I show order. I mean, if that's what you're saying, is that because you couldn't get in contact, why would you cancel? There could be a variety of reasons why they're not responding. One, if they're elderly, they may, like one guy said, well, I don't answer numbers that I don't know about. So they don't tell them that, hey, they're calling from, 823, 222 1616. They don't tell them that. So just because the signer doesn't answer the phone, I'm not going to cancel out on them. And there was one lady who told me that that's what she was doing. She was doing that along with, if the documents didn't come, she was like, I ain't doing it. And I'm like, why? And see, it's not about it fitting you, because this is where people are like, well, I need it to be this way. It has to be. And I have a process too. But I know that sometimes they're at work. Like today, I was trying to get in contact with the guy to let him know I was running late. His phone was upstairs. There's people who I've called and they never answered the phone. But the signing company said everything's confirmed, going out there. So I did. And then I get there and they're like, hey, well, come on in. And I'm like, and I always mention just to try to figure out, I'm like, well, yeah, I called, but I wasn't sure, because I didn't get I don't ever answer my phone unless I know who it is. So you have those scenarios. So keep in mind, not everybody is you. Not everybody is Kathleen York, who will answer her phone at 2:00 in the morning and it says spam. Not everybody's like that. Some people, they're like, I don't. I called a guy today to do a house inspection, and the first thing he said on his voicemail, if your call is probably being blocked because we think it might be spam. And I'm like, it's not spam. I'm trying to do a house inspection. Now I text the guy, never heard back from him. Then the order got canceled for whatever reason. So I would not cancel orders just because somebody didn't respond to me. There's a lot of companies that says even though the borrower, you didn't hear back from them or you wasn't able to confirm, we still expect you to go. Now, every time you, from what I was told, when you hit that button to say that you want that order, a message goes out to all the players. And they're saying, the message goes out and says, Kathleen York wants to do this order. Then they assign it to you, and everybody is told Kathleen York is assigned this order. 2 hours later, you're like, I don't want to do this order. Why? Because I couldn't get in contact with them. Okay, don't worry about that. We still got 2 or 3 days before. Nah, I'm not doing it because I can't get in contact with them. I didn't talk to them, so I ain't doing that. And what most people have told me, not you, but what most people have told me is this. I ain't got time to be going out there for no just little print fee. I ain't got time to be going out there, printing them documents. That costs money. And then I go out there and they don't show up. I get it. I'm trying to find something in my pocket. I thought I had my other stuff here. I do get it. That's a part of the business. It's not going to be everybody picks up the phone, any of that. Now, if you pick up the phone, they pick up the phone, the people disrespect you. Yeah. And I've canceled several appointments because the borrower said something disrespectful to me. One lady called me dyslexic. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, one lady told, well, you're not coming in my house because, that's just not what we do, and then one person, well, it was raining and they're like, well, we're going to be outside. I'm like, okay, it's raining. Okay, well, you're not coming in my house. I'm like, I can't do the signing in the rain. Well, yes, you're going to have to. And I'm like, okay, thank you, ma'am. And then I called him and said, take me off this order. But I don't cancel orders because I can't contact the borrower. There's some borrowers now, I think, I have that I haven't been able to contact. Yeah, there's at least 1 or 2 that I have not been able to contact until they tell me otherwise. It's on my calendar and I'm going. That's, and keep in mind also, when you do that and you cancel like that, now they have to go and find a whole nother notary. They got to find another notary. So you could put them in a bad situation. You really could. You really, really, really could. But try to hang in there, Kathleen, and be patient with some of these borrowers. Because the people got a lot going on. They got a lot going on. They do. They do. Let's see. Any other questions? Come on, party people. Now, I know somebody wants to hop on here because everybody be calling me and I be talking to y'all and y'all got all kind of questions. Now, I know some people have started getting orders. Has anybody started getting orders and actually been assigned any orders? All right. Click the link, man. Hop on and talk to them and tell everybody what your experience has been, man. We like to hear that. Because the ladies be hopping on, but we don't all the time we don't get any of the fellas. Yeah, that that called the part of the problem. I haven't taken my oregano oil this morning, and I have not taken my black seed oil, and I need to do that. Because when I take those two, it actually, the cough virtually just goes away. Explain split signing. And hold on one second. I'm gonna go grab my black seed oil real quick. This is pretty neat. They do pictograms, and they are basically doing the pictograms. So you got you. All right. All right, all right, all right. Woo-hoo. Yeah, and this stuff here, this has also been helping. Some kind of herbal thing. And today, because I got up so early, I just literally forgot to take any of my stuff. Got up. This is some good stuff here. It has acacia honey in it and all of that. Now, split signings. Explain split signings to me, because sent me an email afterwards. Clean said I was supposed to send a label to the notary. Okay. The label that's going to the notary should have already been in there. So you'll get the split. So the split signing is basically transfer and watch thing. Yeah. Notary Go does try to pressure you. With the split signing, is two people, two different locations. The first notary notarizes stuff for John Jones. You will cross out any inside of the notarial statement, Jane Jones. You will cross her out in the notarial statement. You don't mark out her signature line or any of that kind of stuff, because she still needs to sign. If you're the second notary, when you get it, you will be adding your notarial certificate to the loan packet. Okay, you'll add it to the loan packet and all of that. Now, when it comes to the shipping, normally when you get it, they'll send it to you. If you're the first one, they will have a FedEx slip or UPS for you to ship, so that the document is shipped from you to the second notary. But also they will include in there a second UPS or FedEx packing slip for the second notary to send it back to the title. Normally what I've seen is that the shipping label for you to send it to the second notary has their name on it. And then the other one has the title company on there. I've been in situations where the notary, they had the shipping label to send it to me, and they sent it to the title company. And then the title company had to wait till it got to them and then send it back to me. There were some very unhappy people. And see, these are the kind of little things that we as notaries got to get straight. So yeah, so if there was a second label in there and you may not have realized that, and unfortunately some of these signing companies will not hold up, William Green. Now this William Green, now that ain't Willie Green that used to play football on that Reebok Trojans. And I know there was a Willie Green. I don't know if that's the same. This William Green is the same Willie Green and stuff. They used to be out there with Nazarelli Worthing and I think, and I forgot what the other guy's name was, but yeah. So that's what's going on with the split signing. And they should have told you, unfortunately, they probably didn't, that second slip should have went to the notary. But they could have easily just uploaded it to them. Okay, man. See, I'm getting old. Okay, I'm getting old. I'm getting old, man. All right. So okay. And hold on. And I hope, Miss Willis, that answered your question. I hope that answered your question. If it did not, let me know. Starting slowly. To me, starting slowly and mastering this involves you making sure you understand how to notarize. And when you're in a signing, you just make sure that those documents get notarized properly. If the borrowers have a question or concern, get the loan officer on the phone, get the title company. I don't think you should come into this business, my opinion, trying to be somebody who's a loan document expert. Because there are too many different variations of these loan documents for you to just bust in here saying, I'm ... and I can do this. That's why I'm not too keen on the phrase loan signing agent, because when you say I'm a loan signing agent, in my opinion, that communicates to the borrower that you know something about those loan documents, that you're on the same level as a loan officer or somewhat, or you're working closely with them. Because John over here is called who? The loan officer. Then you come in saying I'm a loan signing agent. They may take that as a one-to-one correlation, because you got to keep in mind, when the title company says to the Browns, yeah, your closing is Thursday at 6 p.m. and we're going to be sending out the notary. They don't say, hey, we're sending out a loan signing agent to you. They say we're sending the notary out. That's what they say. And then you come and say you're something else other than a notary. They may not understand or be able to, correlate the two, because you coming in there saying I'm the loan signing agent. That might be their first time even hearing that phrase. And they've been working on this loan for 4 months. And they just keep saying, yeah, at the closing, we'll have the notary come to your house. We'll have the notary come to your house. We'll have the notary come to your house. The notary will call you and get everything set up. And then you pop in there, hey, I'm the loan signing agent. And they're like, okay, what does that mean? You don't want to confuse them. Now, you do what you want, but you don't want to confuse them. Let's see. Now, let me go back one. And for mastering, it just takes time. I am nowhere near a master. Ooh. Good old black seed oil. That stuff is good. Tangy. It takes time. It takes time. Mastering this, I'm not trying to master this. I'm trying to learn how to minimize mistakes. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn how to minimize mistakes. Sometimes when you feel that you master something, your willingness and ability to learn is greatly reduced. I'm looking at it as I'm trying to learn how to avoid mistakes. And the more I can avoid mistakes, the better. Now, you may look like you've mastered it, but you may not have. But I try to do everything I can to avoid the mistakes. I hope that answered your question. If not, let me know. So if you have an order, come up. paying like 100, for example, but you have to drive over an hour and a half away. Do you ask for more money? Depends on the company. You can, the situation. One signing company told me recently that they will pay a little bit more. You know, they say, okay, yeah, if something comes up, yeah, you can consider it, but it also has to be something fair. You can't sit there and say, well, I want 200, you know, okay, gas ain't 200, you know, it ain't another $100 for you to drive that. Plus you also get the 56 cents a mile tax deduction, but you can ask. It all depends on your relationship with the company. There's some companies I just do the work because they feed me enough. They feed me a lot of business. So yeah. In case in point, as I mentioned earlier this week, I went to Williamsburg, Virginia, which is over an hour away from me. Not by much, maybe an hour and 5 minutes. The order was for $90. I said I'll do it for $125, and I gave them the reason why. I said because it's a 2-hour round trip. They assigned it to me and gave it to me for $125. Then another order came for that same area, and I said I'll do it for $125. Same reason, they didn't give it to me. So more than likely, they probably knew they couldn't get anybody at that time of the day, which was 9 o'clock in the morning, to go to Williamsburg. And it's not a whole lot of people on my side where I live is going to go travel over there. So you can ask for more money. You have to be reasonable. If they say no, we cannot, then you have to ask yourself, do I want the money so that I can, because especially if you're new, and like I said, I did a 3-hour trip for $100, 3 hours round trip, $28 in tolls. I ain't make no money on that. But after that, the motors was flying, the motors was coming in, the motors was popping. So I more than made up for that. More than made up for that. Well, thank you. I'm glad the videos have been helping you. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you change your profile and communicate to them that, hey, I'm not no slug, I'm not no bum, they'll come. The orders will start coming in. The orders will start coming in. You just have to, be patient and take it one step at a time, and it will come. I'm telling you. I'm just checking something over here real quick. It will come. Yeah, it will come. And thanks for hitting the like button, everybody. Really appreciate that. Seems like that is working to get the video out to people. A lot of classes teach you to start to take the documents apart, such as the CD. I have stopped doing this, and my error rate is almost zero. What are your thoughts on rearranging the documents? Rearrange the documents in an order that works for you. My thought is every single document got to get signed. Now, with some of the companies, one company, like, they put all of these data proof sheets, closing instruction sheets, and all this stuff that does not get signed. There's no signature for anybody on there. These are just informational sheets for the settlement and closing person. I take all of those, set them off. And right now, in order for me to get through some of these, I have to, like some of the tax forms and stuff, tax record stuff, I pull that out. Now, if the company says don't rearrange their documents, then I won't. But if I don't see that I can't, or I don't get a notification coming back saying, hey, you rearranged our docs, don't do it again, stop, then I won't. I will abide by whatever they ask. But the main thing is I make sure all them documents get executed. And if I got to scan back, I scan them all back. So I know people say pull the CD up, pull the note, pull this, start off with these. These are the critical documents. Well, they don't send them that way. They don't send them to you in that order that everybody, the trainers say to put them in, because they know at the end of the day, they all got to get signed. So, and then keep in mind, if you're busy, if you're ripping and running, and then all of a sudden you get a last minute signing, they say, hey, Dan, we're going to give you $200. We got this last minute signing. Can you squeeze it in? Yeah, I can squeeze it in. All right, the documents come. Boom. You ain't got time to sit there and rearrange it. You just got to get them signed. That's the whole goal. That's what your purpose is, to get them signed. Okay, hold on. What we got going on here? Somebody from Brazil? I don't know who that is. Oh, I love Rihanna. I don't know who that is. I thought it was another person that I came across from Brazil. I thought that was them. All right, I got several notifications in the past week, and I answered immediately, but yet to get a sign. Yeah, that's been happening a lot. My goodness, that's been happening a lot. I got an order for a loan application. My son's sitting right here in the house, and he didn't even get the notification. I'm like, okay. There's been times where I've been hitting on orders, and as soon as I hit the order, it says, unfortunately, it's been assigned already. What I do know from listening to others is that sometimes these orders get sent out. And by the time you get them, you're in the second or third wave. I don't know if people's Google Voice is tripping them up, but I don't use Google Voice, so I still get the same thing. I don't know. I mean, it could be that at 4:05, they sent the order out. You got it at 4:06. And by the time you got it, it was already gone. So I've seen that happen. I've seen where I've been in a room and somebody gets an order and I don't. Also, I know some people will get orders because of where they live at. It's like, okay, it's an order in Chesapeake, Virginia. So guy that I know, he lives in Chesapeake. He'll get the order, then I won't. I won't get the order until they expand the reach, because nobody in Chesapeake will do the order. I've been an order doing. Yeah, you got to be patient with this here. And what I always say is be in a ready position. Be in a position to go. You just never know. You got to be in a position to go, meaning you got your printer, you got your scanner, you got your paper, you got your pens, you got everything ready to go. You know what your calendar looks like. You know your schedule. You know when you got orders. You know when the kids got to be at daycare, when the husband, when the wife got something going on. You know everything. You are clear. So when they say Tuesday the 27th at 3:30 p.m., you can know within milliseconds, bam, I'm available. Now, whether you get it or not, different story. But as I also shared, say if you aren't available at that time, let's say you get off at 3:00 and the orders for 3:30, and you know that you can, if you got off at 3:00 and the order was at 4:30, you can make it there on time, then tell them I can do it at 4:30. And one guy called me, I keep forgetting where he's from, but he called me and said that he was doing that, and that has opened up a world of great opportunities for him. So he's been getting more orders because he's been able to tell them, hey, I'm not available at this time, but I'm available that time. And they're like, you know what? Okay, we'll do that. And there's been times where the company will say, hey, look, you coordinate a time with them. Or there's been times where I said that I'm not available at this time, but I'm available at a different time. The notary who actually took the assignment then turned around and said, no, I can't do it for whatever reason. Or they was told that, hey, I can't do it at that time because something else came up, or the borrower said, no, I can't do it at the time. It has to be later. Well, you've already responded, me in this case, that I can do it at that later time. They go back through and look at those notifications and see, hey, wait a minute, Griff said he can do it at 6:30 instead of 5:00. Okay. And yeah, Griff, can you do that? Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can do that and stuff. So, but in the last week, and wasn't able to accept because during work time. I'm quitting my job soon. They are all during all. Yeah, now that is another thing that has happened because I ain't gonna lie to you. Before COVID, I called myself Hampton Roads #1 nighttime notary. My wife would tell you I was tearing it up. Soon as 5 o'clock hit, 4 o'clock, I was on orders. I was boom, 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 tearing it up. 4 and 5 a night. 5 o'clock, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9 o'clock sometimes. So that's 5. Get home. Hey, we got this last minute order, or the notary couldn't show up. All right, cool. So I end up doing 6 in one day. Loving it. Loving it. And then the weekends came, because people was working, and it was like, man, the only time I got off is the evenings and the weekends. Now everybody's working from home. So it's like, we ain't doing nothing at night because we going to the wherever, going out, kids sleep, this, that, other. We just want to chill. So during that time, I took, there was times where I had to take a little bit extended lunch break, and then come back and work some extra hours, or I would go into work earlier in order to do it if something was in close to me. And that's where I started really saying, I can't do it at this time, but I can do it at that time. So if an order came in for 2 o'clock or 2:30, I'm like, and it was in my zip code, and I saw, oh, okay, that's close. That's less than 10 minutes from me. I can't do it this time. I'm currently at work. And I would tell them, I said, I'm currently at work, but if there's any flexibility, I can do it at this time because I'm only 10 minutes away. And they'll be like, all right, cool. And then if they call you asking you to do an order, try to negotiate. I will stick more. I will be like, I focus more on making sure that it fits my time than worried about the dollar amount. Because, okay, yeah, you get the dollar amount. They say, yeah, we'll pay you $150, but it's still got to be at 3 o'clock. Well, I'm at work at 3 o'clock. Okay, that doesn't do good. But if I can get 100 and I know I can get that time at a time that fits me, I would rather have the 100 than trying to get them to give me 150, and I still can't do it because there's no flexibility on the time. But if there's flexibility on the time, cool. That's the way I try to work it and everything. Do I get orders after 6 p.m.? There have been orders after 6 p.m. I'm not taking them. Now, last night I did a 7:30. And why did I do 7:30? That's a good question. I don't know why I did 7:30. They must have been paying something good. What was yesterday, the 22nd? Yeah, 125. That's why I did it. Ain't gonna lie to you. $125. And it was a new company. It was a new company on SnapDoc called Custom Closings. Never heard of them. So one of the other things, if it's a new company, I almost don't care what the fee is. If I see an order come from a new company and I know I haven't done one with them, I'm trying to get that order so I can get in the door with them. So if they offer, a $85 reverse mortgage, which is way low, all right, count me in, because I'm just trying to get in the door with them because I want to test them out and see what they're like. I want to see how their process is, how they do their docs, how responsive they are. I want to check all of that out. That's what I do. And I guess you could say that's a part of quote unquote mastering. So then that way, as time goes by, you have some knowledge that you can share. That's why I'm so against people just popping into the business talking about, oh, I can mentor you. I'm like, okay, how many do you take some of those quirky orders? Now, I ain't doing all of that. Okay, well, man, do you do orders at 10 o'clock at night? No, I ain't doing all of that. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't doing any of that, but yet you're going to try to teach me, and I'm faced with all of these quirky things. So that's why I said in my order sheet here, I got a $60 seller's package. I ain't never did a seller's package for $60. The lowest been 85. And with that, those are done in 20 minutes. So unless, so I'm like, this seller package, it better be done in 10, in my opinion, 10 minutes, because I'm like, $60, in my opinion, is low. Matter of fact, they got the documents. Ooh, them documents don't look small. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna go on and download them. And see. And I'm gonna open them up. Can't show y'all, but I'm gonna open them up. And L. All right. And let's see here. This looks like it's, man, this looks like unless I'm reading these these things wrong, it looks like it's a pretty big package. Da-da-da. Okay. Oh man, come on, please. Oh, no. Y'all got to be kidding me. I am not doing this. No, I'm sorry, y'all. I cannot. I'm sorry. I cannot. No. I might have to do like Miss York and cancel this order. I think I'm going to have to cancel this. I mean, what do I look like doing this order for $60 and it's only 20 pages? Gotcha. 20 pages. Woo. 20 pages. I can do that. 20 pages. Yeah, I know y'all thought I was going to say it was, I thought it was a large page. I don't know, something the way their kilobytes show up on here, but 20 pages, shoot, really 19, because you don't even count the FedEx slip. Oh, all right. So all of them people talking smack, oh, I ain't doing no $60 order. I ain't getting all 20 pages, 60. Shoot, man, please. I'm gonna knock this bad boy out the park. Let me see where they where they at. Now the drive is a little bit for me. 18-minute drive. That ain't too bad. But I can still deal with that. Cause, and that's only one I got for that day. No. Where it is? 1, 2, 3. I got 3 that day. So I got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I got 3 that day. 10, 4, and 5. I'm good. Yeah. Because that one is on Wednesday. I mean on Sunday. I got one on Sunday. I'll be honest, I was nervous, y'all. So 20 pages, $60. Come on. And somebody be like, but the gas, the 18 minutes, that gas. Okay, but I'm only printing 39 pages. 20 pages, then 19 pages. I'm only printing 39 pages. They get a copy. I have a copy to sign. That's it. I mean, I don't see where that's bad at. I mean, y'all tell me. I honestly don't see. So 20 pages for $60. All right. They might just have picked themselves up a new notary. And I'll tell y'all the company. If I can find the company's name. Loan Pro Closings on SnapDocs. I mean, not SnapDocs, on signing order. LPC Closers. That's who they call them. LPC, Loan Pro Closers. And I've done stuff when they was a different company a while back. And I never had any problem with them. So if you see LPC, Loan Pro Closings, I keep saying closers, Loan Pro Closings, $60. I mean, now hopefully I ain't gonna mess around and trick nobody, and then you do one of theirs, and then it'd be 150 pages. But I wish they would say in the order, that that, hey, this here's a small package and everything. Because I'm looking at the directions, and nothing in the directions say, hey, it's going to be this small or that small. So I can deal with that. I mean, honestly, I can truly deal with that. I mean, I'm gonna be in, and I'm not even gonna sit down. I'm gonna stand up at the counter and be like, here you go, and I'm done. So I like that. I like that. See, this is what I'm saying. If you sometimes just take an order, just take the order, and then find out, oh, okay, this wasn't bad. Take the order. Man, this was crap. Now you know. But you don't know until you do. And that's the key thing. So that's what I'm trying to encourage y'all to do. Just get out there. Ask your questions. That's why I say, if you got questions, feel free to ask me. Ask me anything you want about whatever within within the notary. Because, and here's the thing, and I know I sound like a broken record, because they also out there sounding like a broken record, telling you what not to take for his work. Put yourself in your spouse's. Imagine that you. I was trying to say envision that you and your spouse switch places, for as not your genders or none of that, but for as you're the notary and they're not. So now they're the notary, you're not. If you saw your spouse bringing in $5 or $6 grand a month, even $3 grand a month consistently, would you care whether it was $60 orders in there? Would you care whether it was $150 order or 200 pages or what? You see that they are bringing in consistently. Now, consistency motivates people. Consistency does something to people when they see that you are consistent with something that is producing positive energy, good fruit. Consistency is what made my son say, hey, I want to be a notary also. Now, it's been a little slow for him right now, but we're going to get him going. He's had one signing, actually 2 signings, and he's coming along. He's coming along, and I'm working on some things to try to get him some more work and all of that. But, and I told him, I said, you just got to be patient. I said, stick with me and you're going to be fine. But consistency is the key. And if you can't, I mean, I know, again, I've said it again before, and I'll say it again. If you come home and your spouse is just sitting on the couch and their phone is just binging off the hook, ding, ding, and you know what the bing is because they changed the ringtone to let them know that, okay, that's an order coming in. And they're like, you're not taking any of those? Nah. Now you're saying it's true that you have to sign up with 100 companies. Now, we was talking about this earlier. You don't have to sign up with 100 companies. I never signed up with 100 companies. And there's other people who haven't signed up with 100 companies. And as I always say, again, like I said earlier, are those 100 companies doing business in your area? There's no magic formula as to saying, as a notary signing agent, once you sign up with 100 companies, then they're going to be like, oh, we can send you orders. They don't know that you signed up with 100 companies. Who knows how many companies you signed up with unless you tell them? So if you haven't told them and put the word out, how would anybody know? I mean, you're not signing up with SnapDocs and saying, hey, SnapDocs also signed up with Signing Order. Hey, Signing Order, I signed up with CX Choice. Hey, CX Choice, I signed up with Notary Go. Them people don't care who you signed up with. They don't care. They don't care. Oh, is it true? I'm sorry. I read it wrong. See, I'm tired. Is it true? Y'all should have corrected me. Get me going off on a tangent. My bad, DRS7. No, I said this earlier. You don't have to sign up for 100 companies. You do not. You do not. You sign up for whatever companies that you know. SnapDocs. And I got a video out. In that video, 100, 200, 300, 500 signings. And there's a list of the companies that I've signed up with. There's one company, Timios. I signed up with them as a part of the sign up for all these different companies. I think they're based out of North Carolina. Barely once a month I see an order from them. And when I do see an order, it's always in an area that I really don't want to go to at a time that I don't want to go to it. So they want me to go to Hampton at 3:00 in the afternoon. And if I got in Hampton traffic, they got a underwater tunnel. That tunnel traffic gets terrible. And I'm like, I don't feel like sitting in that tunnel traffic for several hours. And if I go there for 3:00, and normally I have a 2-hour window, if I do a 3:00, ain't no way I'm getting back from that side to this side in an hour. There's no way with that work traffic. So that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. So they keep putting me, orders that I just can't do. So I don't, so, and then when I did try to get an order, when I had some time to go to Hampton, it was at a time that I could go. They were like, oh, it's already taken. So I still missed out on that, and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, again, it's all about working. It's all about working. Get out here and do it. I mean, if somebody can come on, and I've opened this up. If somebody can come on and show me how not doing those orders, I will be more than happy to accept it. More than happy to accept that, and I will change my whole way of doing things. But I mean, these, I'm gonna share with y'all again. Okay, babe? Okay. All right, good night, babe. All right. Again. This here is the number of how much money I would have made if I did not take any of those below $100 orders. With the $100 orders, I made that was additional $39,000. Without the $100 orders, I would only made 67. I wouldn't have made $100,000. Okay. And I'm just showing, that's all I would have made in that month. Now, this here is all the orders that were $150 or more. Oops, let me take this down. My bad, y'all. This right here, this 14,000. This 14,382 is what I would have made in 3 years, only doing $150 orders. Okay. So it's not like I wasn't trying to do more, but that's all I was this is what I was able to catch in 3 years. There's no guarantee that, you would have got more. You could have got more. I said, okay, let me hit that one. I hitting the button, and they wasn't giving it to me. So if they don't give it to you, guess what? You can't get it. Hey, what's going on? Random videos. Okay. All right. Make sure you're not somebody crazy. Yeah, if you're somebody crazy, you're going to get bounced. So random videos, don't come up in here doing nothing crazy, man. All right, appreciate that. But 14,000, 67,000, and then the 100 and some. So what it also shows you is that during that same 3-year period, I made more than double, $39,000. I made $39,000 I made during that time period. That's a lot of daggone money. And that was from the $100 or less orders. So from the $100 or less orders, I made over $39,000. The $150 orders, I made only $14,000. That's why I say money is money. That's why I'm saying that, people. Okay. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, but these people that's in these Facebook groups and these other groups, they ain't letting up off of y'all. They like Kwame Brown said, they kicking your drawers in. They are on you and they are badgering you and making you feel bad for even thinking about taking an order for less than $100. If you say, well, I'll do one for 99, they coming at you hard, you know. But as I shared with one lady, and on that video that I did talking about this here, which is called the results of not doing for the field work for this year, just under $5,000. Yeah, just under $5,000. Yeah, just under $5,000 for this year. Yeah, I was looking at that the other day, just under $5,000. So, you know, I was saying in that video, and if, you know, I don't know if she deleted her comment out or whatever, but we was talking back and forth about worth, and y'all know how I feel about worth. You're worth what you based off of the work you put in. And the question I kept asking and nobody won't answer, and one person provided me an answer, said, you know, your worth is based off of how much you put into doing what you're trying to do. Meaning, you know, you pay $5,000 for notary, then I guess you based how much you're worth off of that. But then I'm like, okay, but if I spent $20,000 on college for, college, then I most definitely should be worth more than $150 that I'm asking for notary. If I'm asking for $150 as a notary, then I most definitely got to be asking for $300 an hour as whatever because of the dollar amount. But it doesn't go that way. It's what did you get your education in? So you spend $100,000 on a field that doesn't really garner that kind of money versus somebody spent $10,000 and on a field that is in high demand. I always wonder. That does happen. That has happened. They can't get their loan closed because I've gotten phone calls. From companies say, hey, look, we couldn't close the loan yesterday, then couldn't get a notary or the notary, whatever. And they couldn't. And sometimes it happens because here in Virginia, we have this area called the Eastern Shore. The Eastern Shore is typically from my house, at least to get where the most of those signings, an hour and a half. I think there's a super chat on here. I think it might be. And that's the this is what's that thing called? Cash App. If you want to donate, you don't have to, but if you want to donate, that's the Cash App. But yeah, so one of the things that me and her I was going back and forth was like, she ended up saying, well, it's up to that individual to determine the worth. So I'm saying to myself, if it's up to me to determine my worth, then why is it when I determine that I'm okay with taking an $85 order, you and the Get Fresh crew is badgering me? You're jumping down my throat. You're giving me a hard time and telling me that I'm diminishing myself and I'm devaluing myself. But yet at the same time, you said it's my choice and it's up to me to choose how I want to live my life and run my business. But yet you're badgering me on the choice and saying that because of my choice, it's affecting you negatively. That doesn't make sense to me at all. You can't tell me that I have a right to choose which path that I go and then badger me for doing it and telling me that I'm wrong. However, when I say, can you give me the formula so that I can properly calculate my worth, you have no formula. You have nothing to give me except to say, well, that's up to you. I mean, I'm just saying, this is just the way I look at it. Because if that's the case, if it's based on how much money you put in, my son didn't put in a whole lot to get in this business because he's piggybacking off of me. He's piggybacking off of my paper, my everything. All he had to do is pay for his insurance and keep his notary stuff and buy his stamps if his stamps goes out. So is it $2,500? If you spend $2,500 or less, you can charge $60 a signing. If you paid $2,501 to $4,000, you should be charging $100 a signing. If you pay over $4,000 to get into business, you need to be charging $150 or more. I mean, what is the formula? How does this work? That's what I'm trying to understand, and that's what I want to be communicated to me. Because if I'm doing this wrong, I don't have a problem course correcting at all. But nobody's giving me the formula except to say, it's up to you. I mean, you do what you want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do because I just feel that I'm worth more. I just feel that I should be doing this, that, and the other. How do you handle signers that don't pay? I am not constantly chasing my check. There's one company. I always forget their name, and I have to do it. I'm going to do it this weekend. They have this thing where they want you to send them this one form. And if you send it, they'll pay you. Now I will say, I'm not going to say the company name. There's one company that I got to get with, like, okay, where's my money? And I had to do that with them a while back. I don't know, because I have no proof that I ever got any checks from them. And then once I, contacted them, then I got the money. So I've only had like really one company, well, two, and I don't even see that company on any of the platforms anymore. So they might not even be doing anything. But overall, I have not had to run behind anybody. I really haven't. I haven't had to run behind anybody. I've heard stories about other notaries, and I couldn't even begin to tell you why. I really couldn't. I couldn't begin to tell you why. And so, ooh, boy, that black seed oil got some kick. All right, random videos. Yes, that is one of the people who I've dealt with. Yes. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Yes, I've dealt with them. I'm not even going to put that comment up on the screen, but yes, I have dealt with them and have had some difficulties as well as other people. Well, in the beginning, I wasn't, and then I did. And then other notaries was telling me what the other notaries was telling me. And I was like, well, no, everything fine. And then all of a sudden, bam, I'm like, oh, this is what they're talking about. Got it. Yeah. As far as my son's journey, he's doing good. He's still feeling his way around with it. Just trying to get those notifications up for him. The way I look at this business, I know the numbers that if you do, 3 signings, let me pull up. I'm sorry, y'all. I know the numbers. If you do 150 times 3, that's 450 a day. It's typically 20 days in a month. That's $9,000. 9,000 times 12, 108,000 a year. As I always say, the question is there enough orders of that dollar amount? Can you guarantee? You can't guarantee that you're going to get 3 orders every day of $150. You can't guarantee that. Even if you work direct with a title company, that can't always be guaranteed. It might be less, or they might say, "Hey, we don't have any closings today," or something happened, and whatever. So you can't guarantee that. But what I know from what I've seen in my area is that the average order is about $85. And I know that if I can do 5 to 6, it'll say 6 orders, that's 510. Now, yes, it's a lot of work. That 510 times 20 days. So now you got to ask yourself, how much work do you really want to do? How much work are you really willing to put in? Because if money is money and you have the time to run this business and you're doing it full time, and you can get $85 consistently at the end of the day that month, you don't care because you got $10,200. So yeah, somebody might have said, well, look, man, all I did was, I did my orders. I, did my 3 orders at 150 and I got my $9,000. All right. I got 10,200. Now what? Now what? I mean, if you're trying to see whose bank account is bigger. But again, if you're not the type of person that really want to go out there and do that kind of work, then yeah, if all you want to do is, maybe 5 or 10 signings a month, barely 20, then yeah, you're going to need $400 or $500 a signing. But the question is, again, who's paying that? The question, when an attorney offices and notaries in-house, who is getting paid to do the closings, and are they getting? No, they're not getting 150. They're not getting because that's more of like, from my understanding, that's more like a collateral duty for that signer. I mean, for that person. They happen to be, I always use the name Agnes. You got Miss Agnes back there who's been with this title company for 35 years. And all she does is just notarize. And they just have her to do it as a thing. And they might pay her a little something here and there, but they're not giving her the whole 150. They might give her $50 here or there. They just, she's just doing it as a collateral duty. She's not NNA certified. She hasn't taken anybody's training course, any of that. So all she's doing is just sitting there, boom. And yes, who's pocketing it? Your guess is as good as mine. And that's what I was told. That's why I had to switch over to just trying to just stay focused with the signing companies. I went to the title company and they said, we don't need you because we got 8 notaries in our office. Why do we need you? And that was a valid question. I was like, I don't know. I was hoping you would need me. They were like, nah, we don't need you. Go on. Get your butt out of here. They didn't say all that. But I was like, okay, I got to come at this differently. So I was like, you know what? I ain't going to worry about this direct thing. I didn't like the attitude. I don't really want to be in no office environment anyway, for just sitting in there. Nah. So I was like, you know what? I ain't going to worry about it. I'm going to just do what I can, and whatever orders come my way, they come. Young lady called and asked me today, how long did it take before I started getting orders on SnapDocs? I have no clue. I could not tell you. I don't even remember when I signed up for SnapDocs. I would have to look through my emails if I even have those. I don't know whether I signed up for SnapDocs in June and then my first assignment or whatever came in July or August. I have no idea. I know when I got my first order through SnapDocs because it's recorded, but what's the time frame and was I getting notifications before? I wasn't trying to keep up with that. I had no reason to keep up with any of that. Right now, these companies have shifted the way that they're assigning or even considering using notaries. They want people, like one company told me they want you to have 25 signings under your belt. So again, if you're refusing to do signings because of the dollar amount, and I'm not talking about the 2-hour ones, I'm not talking about the 2 hours, hour and a half, 3 hours that you got to go for just $60. We're going to nix those, exit those out. But if you got 22, 23 already under your belt and you get offered a couple that's just like 45 minutes to an hour and you can bump that up to 25 and put that into your profile that you now have 25 closings under your belt, I'm about to go drive an hour. You got to be strategic in your business here. So it says, are you performing any RON? Yes, I do RONs. I did one earlier this week. I use Doc Verify. Haven't had any problems with Doc Verify. Great company. The platform works the way it should. I'm signed up with Notarize and all of that, but I have not had time to do anything with Notarize. I'm signed up with One Notary. I'm signed up with Signex. I'm signed up with these different companies, but I just haven't had time to do stuff with them. But I like Doc Verify. Haven't had any problems with them at all. I don't do a whole lot, maybe once a month, if that. I don't mind. Okay, here's the thing. You got to realize there's a lot of people that are nipping at that notary fee. Don't get caught up in that. Like one signing company, I talked to them about this. I told them, I said, people are seeing that notary fee and they're like, yeah, we see the notary fee too. And we don't get a whole lot off of that. The title company, that's the title company. The title company gets that fee. And then from there, if the title company gets that fee, and then from there, everybody else sometimes has to get paid. So that notary fee is not necessarily like, okay, it just goes to everybody. That is part of the reason why a lot of people want to go direct. And I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with going direct. Hold on, that's part of the reason why a lot of people want to go direct. And I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with going direct. Hold on. That's part of the reason why a lot of people want to go direct. Okay, you might have to turn your microphone down a little bit there, Jack. There's nothing wrong with or your speakers. What's going on, Jack? All right, you got to unmute yourself on that end. Can't hear you yet.
Hello.
There we go.
You can hear me?
Yeah, my man. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. I have about, I'd say 175 signings.
There we go. Yeah, my man. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. Not much. I have about, I'd say
you must got me playing through the TV or something.
On the TV.
So you might have to mute that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, a couple of things. One, what happens? I'm about to hit a year in August.
Mm-hmm.
Does that open up any other opportunities once you hit a year?
Yeah, it does. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
perfectly.
Yeah. That was one of the things, and I've said this a few times. I really haven't emphasized it a whole lot. And one time me and Victor Chambers talked, and he said that he noticed that once he hit 100 signings, he started seeing more people and orders. The three things that I saw when I hit 100 signings, when I put $100,000 of E&O insurance, and when I hit a year.
Mm-hmm.
And each year, I'm seeing different companies. That's why I said like that custom closings. I had never seen them before. And there's some companies that they are not going to touch you unless you have a certain amount of years or a certain amount of notarizations under your belt.
Right.
So this is why, in my opinion, it is so very important to do as many signings as you can, because again, if you put yourself in the signing company's shoe, they don't care what you got paid. They want to know that you got some experience under your belt.
Right.
But
Right.
if you're saying, well, I mean, just imagine if the signing company came to you and said, okay, well, Jack, you've been doing this for like a year, but you only got, 15 under your belt. What's going on? Well, I would have more, but I mean, they was only offering 85.
Right. Yeah, I have 150. Not
Right. You know what I'm
15.
saying?
Yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. But see, that's the difference, because you got that number, but you have notaries who are like, that have probably been in just as long as you and don't even have a quarter of what you have.
Right.
And and then you say, okay, well then why don't you? Well, I don't have it because of these here reasons. And in honesty, they're not valid reasons.
Right.
They're
Right.
not. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, I just wanted to get paid more. And then everybody tells me the reason why they want to get paid more is because really they overspent getting into the business. So they spent money getting into the business that they probably shouldn't have spent. And now they're trying to recoup that by upping their fees.
Right.
And that ain't the way to get it back.
Right.
That ain't the way. So for you, like in my profile, I actually say how many signings that I've done total. I physically type it in there. I've done 175 signings. At one point in time, I was even saying, like if you do reverse mortgages or done them, let them know.
Right.
I've done reverse mortgages. I've done HELOCs. So they'll see what you've done.
Yeah. Yeah. A second thing is that I'll go into like next week. I might have 2 or 3 appointments.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And then on Monday comes or Tuesday, and I start getting these last second, they need someone canceled or something.
Right.
So just print and go type things, which
Yeah.
I've kind of, so at least 50% of my signings are that way. Like I can't look next week and see a bunch of appointments already. It always happens that day. Is that normal or?
That can be normal. That's how I made my fame to claim. I'm serious. Or claim to fame.
Right.
Whatever the fame. Because they was like, hey, we can't find a notary. There
Yeah.
was, I mean, like one of the companies was Armor Settlement, their own signing order. Young lady named Allison worked there. She works with a different company now. I was talking to Allison and she was like, yeah, some notaries don't want last minute signings. And I was like, why? She's like, I don't know. She said, we're willing to pay more.
Right, right. That's what I found.
So, yeah. So I'm like, okay. I said, well, you just hit me up. You hit me up. She said, okay. And she'll tell you. I mean, me and her have a great working relationship. If I'm available and I hit that button, I get the order because she know I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do it right and everything.
Right.
So I can deal with the last minute orders. How you deal with them? By having your act together for us properly notarizing the documents. If you understand that part, you good, because more than likely the last minute signing, the borrower's not even worried about you trying to explain anything to them, because they're like, look, we just trying to get done with this. Us and Earl, the loan officer, that have been going back and forth screaming at each other. We
Right.
just want to sign these papers and have this done so we don't have to deal with them no more.
Right. Right.
So now at that point, what is the only thing that you can honestly and legitimately do? Get the documents notarized properly so they don't have to deal with Earl anymore. Because if you don't get them done right, then Earl's going to be calling them and, you might have lost your rate lock because the notary didn't do that right.
Yeah. Yeah. But my I always the last minute ones I always get
Mhm.
done, and I double triple check them. Very rarely do I get any back with mistakes. I sometimes do, but it doesn't seem to be transitioning to, well, if this guy's doing it so good in these print and goes, why don't we give him some future appointments?
Well, they have to have them in order for them to give you something in the future. They got to have them.
Right. Well, I accept a lot, but I don't get a lot that I accept.
Right.
And then the last minute, I'll be getting a bunch. It's like, why aren't you just, now that it's been almost a year, why aren't you just giving me appointments in the future? I mean, I'd love to have, 8 appointments for next week.
Right. Now, what has happened to me, there's been times where I've had appointments in advance and still no documents. So that's a frustrating part. There's like, okay, well, like yesterday I had one at noon and I was booked for that one for a while.
Right.
Documents never showed up. 5 emails came out from the signing company to the title company, and the title company, I don't think they responded but one time.
Yeah.
And not even in the email. They was like, hey, yes, they're working on the documents. And then one next thing I know, by the end of the day, that order was taken out of my queue.
Right.
Because they just couldn't get it done. There's been times where I've had 3 or 4 signings in one day and all of them got canceled or postponed or moved.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, so that's a part of the business. And I mean, there's stuff that I'm booked for all the way out to the 28th, and I think even the 30th.
Right.
But there's still no guarantee that it's going to go down.
Yeah.
So, that's the only reason, because there was a couple that canceled on me this week for whatever reason. That's why I took these 2 for tomorrow. Now, the ones I got tomorrow, both of them for 125, and one's a loan application, which I've never seen a loan application for 125.
Right. Right.
But I was like, I'm gonna hop on that. I mean, shoot, let me do that. And then another company called me and said, hey, you got bandwidth to do one for us? I said, yeah. They said, how much you want? I said 125. They said, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a buyers, so I know this is going to be small. Both of them are small package. The loan app is 63 pages. I don't even know how. I mean, the buyers probably about the same.
Yeah.
So the amount of time to do them is going to be minuscule. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to hop on that.
Right.
I wasn't planning on doing anything on the weekend. Plus, I have one that I was already booked for Sunday. And I think again, because Sunday ones is sort of laid back and it's just get in, get out.
Right.
But it all boils down the company, how that company runs and who they're dealing with. So if the signing company, let's just say we'll call it Watermark. If Watermark signing company is dealing with Celestial Title and Escrow, Celestial Title and Escrow got to have their act together in order for them to say, yes, we know we're going to close in a week. So go ahead on and send the order out.
Oh, so most of the time it's not real far in advance for that reason.
Right. I mean, because they got to have their stuff together. So if the signing company, the signing company is just this person that's there.
Right.
But if the title company is like, okay, we're going to be closing with the Mitchells, but the underwriter says these documents, these facts and figures ain't right. Okay, well, we'll get to them. Or we need the Mitchells to provide us information. The Mitchells don't provide the information for 3 or 4 more days. So it's hard for them to schedule out to say, okay, we're going to close on the 26th of the month, and here it is the 15th. We can't do that if everything isn't in place. Everything has to be in place and all checked off in order for us to say, okay, we're going to close on this date. That's
Right.
what has to happen.
Yeah.
If a title company, the escrow company, the loan officers, and all of them, if they have their stuff together, and then the borrowers have done what they're supposed to do, they can easily say, okay, we're going to close, on the 30th or whatever day, because, I think right now I'm looking, hold on. Matter of fact, I'm already booked out to the 13th. On the 13th of August, I got a closing. I mean, the 13th, that is what? Man, that's almost that's almost 3 weeks out.
Right.
So I'm already booked on SnapDocs for a closing on the 13th. I'm booked for one on the 10th, and I'm booked for one on the 2nd.
Right.
All from the same three companies. This is from the Closer LLC. So the Closer LLC, whoever their title company that they're dealing with, that company has to have their act together to know that they're going to get these documents done and ready for the 2nd, the 10th, and the 13th.
Right.
In order for them to say, we want to book this here now, they got to have this stuff in check. If they do, then you'll see the order. But if the companies that that you ended up coming across, if they don't, they're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. Just like people are living in rural areas, they live 45 minutes away from a major area. You're going to have a hard time if in your area it's only 5,000 homes.
Right.
Versus an area that has 250 or 300,000 or even 1 million homes.
Right.
The refinance opportunity will be greater there.
Yeah, sure.
So there have been notaries who are saying, I'm quitting the business because there's nothing happening in my area. And I'm like, where you live? They living out in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah.
But what was sold on the internet was you could make this money, and it didn't say anything about your geographical location as it relates to the housing market.
Right.
And if you're in a retirement community or a retirement area where everybody's already set or they've actually paid their house off, and they're not trying to go into any more debt, your chances of getting refinances are going to be very slim.
Right.
You might get more reverse mortgages.
Right.
But then the notaries are saying, well, I don't like doing reverse mortgage because we got to deal with old people.
Well, that and the packages are so big. I had a 300-page reverse mortgage.
But you only had to print it once, right?
Well, I printed it. No, I printed it for them too.
Well, because most of the time those things are split where it's one packet, and then there's a portion in there that's just for them, and then the other part is for you to have them sign. So most of the times it's split that way. Every now and then it might not be, but most of the time it's supposed to be where the first part is what they sign, and then there's a secondary part that says customer copy that you give them. But even if it is 300 pages, if that's the only orders that's in your area, now you got to make a decision. Are you going to try to make money, or are you going to worry about the fact that it's 300 pages and you're dealing with somebody that's 85, 90 years old?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the pages, but the older folk, like one man, he said, my hand's getting numb about halfway through, so we had to take breaks.
Yep.
So they're older and they have so much more signing to do. That's why I don't turn them down if they give them to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's young people. I mean, there's people that I've dealt with. Now, what's harder for me to deal with is when you have some young person and they act like they can't sign their name in cursive.
I haven't had that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, you ask them to say, okay, no, you can't sign, J.K. Rowling. We'll just use her for
Yeah.
example. Not picking with you, J.K., wherever you at. But or let's just say like me, S.C. Griffin. And I've had people say, okay, well, they want you to sign your full name. And
Right.
I've had people literally tell me, I don't know how to spell my first name in cursive.
Yeah. They don't teach cursive in school.
Right.
And a friend of mine, his 16 or 17-year-old son
Mm-hmm.
asked him, Dad, can you teach me how to sign my name
Mm-hmm.
or sign my signature?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And that is a problem for me. See, with the elderly people, they know how to sign.
yeah.
And if you ask them to sign their middle name, they'll sign it. If you ask some of these young folk, hey, your name is William Allen Johnson. They need you to sign it. I don't sign Allen. I sign W.A. Johnson.
Right.
Okay, I get that, but they want it as William. I'm not signing that way, Mr. Griffin. I don't
Mhm.
ever sign. I'm like, okay. But I like today I did one with an elderly couple.
Right.
He normally puts his middle name was Allen, and he normally just writes the letter A.
Mm-hmm.
But it had his middle name spelled out, and he wrote it out and didn't fuss.
Right.
Did not fuss about it at all. So I can deal with that. Yeah, it may take a little longer, but I'll be honest, what stresses me out is when I'm with a signer and they're just being difficult. They won't sign the right way. They just doing all of this crazy stuff. And I'm like, all you got to do is sign. Well, why I got to sign this page? I mean, what is this all about?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is your loan document. Well, you need to explain this to me. No, I don't. Don't you know why you're doing this? I mean, yeah, I know why, but I just don't look. I don't feel like reading. So you need this. I'm like, no, I
No.
don't.
Do you think, because it was too hard to get people to write their name and middle name and last name. They're used to just writing their signature. So I just let them do that. Do you think that's a negative for the signing companies?
To let them just sign however.
Yeah, let's say it's William James Smith, and their signature is just whatever it is. I just let them sign like that. I've never had them returned, but I don't know if
Yes.
it's negative.
Well, it all depends on the title company. Because it's not so much the signing company, it's the title company. The title company, if the title company puts instructions in there that says they must sign a certain way,
Yeah.
then I let them know. And if they refuse or give me any kind of pushback, then I get the title company on the phone to explain to them why. Or the title company may say, you know what, go ahead on and do whatever you want, just so they can get the deal done.
Right.
Because here's the case. The other day, I was at a signing and I get there and I see the guy doing something weird with his arm.
Mm-hmm.
His arm was broke.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see big old split there and, stapled. And
Yeah.
I mean, that was hard for me to, and he was right-handed. So he had to sign left-handed.
Oh, wow.
It didn't look nothing like his signature on his ID card.
Yeah.
So now do you not let him sign? You are witnessing him sign. You see him and you can verify that that is him. And he has a situation where his right arm is broken. He even tried to write with he couldn't put enough pressure with his fingertips in order to write.
Right.
So he had to do it with his left hand. It looked pretty decent. And if you paid attention, you looked at it, you can tell, okay, that's his name. He's trying to,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't a whole lot that I could do. I mean, I've dealt with a guy he was quadriplegic. I've dealt with people who had strokes and their dominant hand would just limp.
Right.
And they literally had to set it on the table
Uh-huh.
and they're writing with their non-dominant hand.
Right.
So what do? You tell them, nah, you can't. No. I was like, okay, I'm witnessing the signature, and then you can make a notation in your notary log of what the situation is. And
Right.
then I inform the signing company that, hey, Mr. So and so had a broke arm and he had to sign with his non-dominant hand.
Right. Right.
So if anybody got any questions about that, I'm covered.
Yeah.
You see, so that's how I deal with the signature thing. But if they put in instructions in there saying it must be signed this way, or if it's not signed this way, the notary's going to lose money and have to go back out and do it again. I show them, I say, look, the instructions say right here, you have to sign this way.
Yeah.
If you do not agree with that or want to do that, let me know so we can get them on the phone and y'all can coordinate whatever.
Right. Right.
And I've only had one couple that the title company said, yeah, just let them sign whatever. Because they pitched such a fit. I mean, they literally was like arguing down to the gnats behind that I am not signing this way. So I had to get the title company on the line. The title company called me back and was like, just tell them whatever. Just tell them sign.
Right. 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 Yeah. I haven't had one returned.
Neither have I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Neither have
But
I.
anyway, so you think at a year, some things start. I mean, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now, but I'm just wondering if that's some magic number.
I think it's a year, 100 signings. You got a low error rate. You got good comments on you because they put comments in the back room of these signing platforms that we don't ever see.
Right.
But if they got good comments on you, then that right there is key.
Right.
Right. And they'll be like, okay, cool. We're gonna, we'll give him a try. That's why I say you got to say in your profile, I'm this good, I'm that good. I've done this many signings. I have no problem working with elderly. I have no problem doing signings at a church or at a location that's convenient for them. Show your flexibility, communicate that you know what you're doing as a notary, that you understand your state's notary laws.
Right.
That non-borrowing spouse is a big thing. I understand that a non-borrowing spouse is someone who is not on the promissory note.
Right.
If you say that in your profile, that will make a whole lot of title people, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, we might be able to use Jack because he has said that he knows that a non-borrowing spouse is not on the note. And therefore, we don't have to worry about him making that person sign something that they're not supposed to sign. Because that is what's going on right now. The notaries are making people sign documents that they should not be signing.
Yeah. Yeah. I did early on. I did that too. I would see spouse's signature and I'd have him sign it. And I know now that, well, I learned from my mistakes. So.
Right. But some people haven't, just like they have them initialing pages that they shouldn't initial.
Mm-hmm.
They have them initialing the right to cancel. I've never been told to have the borrower initial the dates on the right to cancel unless the dates were changed. But if the dates aren't changed, I have not seen anything that says you should have them initial the right to cancel.
Well, this year was a little different because there was a new federal holiday that was kind of thrown in there. And so a lot of the 3 business days to cancel was off.
Correct. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't do any signings that weekend, so it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
But again, like I have on my phone, the right to cancel calendar. So,
Right,
so,
right, right.
so I mean, I can just pull that up. That's why when people's talking about insurance and that certain activities doesn't get covered, and one of them was if the notary makes a mistake with the right to cancel. I'm like, you shouldn't make a mistake if you do what? Follow the calendar and and look at the calendar. The dates are there.
Right, right, right.
So how can you mess something up when the dates are right there? But if you're going to try to wing it, then yes, most definitely you're going to have problems.
Right.
You're going to
Right.
have some deep, deep problems. So it's all up to you. And all I'm trying to do is just encourage everybody to really think clearly about how they want to run their business because they're the business owner. And
Yeah.
then basically make sure that you don't allow people to turn you in a direction without verifying the information that they're sharing. That's why I don't have a problem being challenged. If somebody wants to challenge me on something I said, go for it.
Hmm.
Now, my personality that if I think I'm right, I'm going to be, I'm going,
Right.
I'm going.
Right.
But at the same time, if you think what you're saying is right, then you defend it, and that's all. I don't fault somebody for defending their position.
Hmm.
Defend your position. I'm gonna defend mine, but I do tell people I'm open minded enough that once I understand and I'm like, okay, got it. You're right. You know what? You're right. I'm wrong. I'm willing
Hmm.
to do that, but not a whole lot of people. A lot of people just want you to be wrong, but they don't want to admit that they're wrong.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
really, they just don't want you to be right. It's like, and it's not about me being right or any of that. It's just, okay, here's a situation. Look at it objectively. What's the answer?
Hmm.
What's the most important thing that a notary is there to do? Notarize documents. No, I thought we supposed to explain. Okay, what did you take your oath to do?
Hmm.
What does your notary law say?
Right.
So therefore, and then you ask yourself, what are they hiring me to do? They hired me to notarize because that's what I'm there for. Nobody can notarize their own documents. So I'm not saying you can't do this other stuff that your heart desires. I'm saying you have to do the most important thing that you're there to do, which
Right.
is notarize the documents. But what we see in Facebook groups and other things is that people are really messing up the documents.
Yeah.
So if they're messing the documents up, that means people can't get their money, the loans can't close,
Hmm.
and everything gets backed up.
Right. I would I would highly suggest, especially new people, don't get on a lot of those um, Facebook groups and things like that because they're very negative. They will, someone will say, I don't start my car for under 125, and
Hmm.
it'll really confuse a new person. I would stay away from those.
Well, my question then is if they don't start their car for 125, then I guess they don't go to their W-2
Yeah.
because I know they ain't making 125 at their W-2. Hey, Jeff Clark, you probably got to hit some buttons. There's some options you got to make sure you select
Okay.
when you're trying to get in.
Thank you.
No problem.
It was nice talking to you. You taught me a lot.
No problem, man.
I learned this business from you. So
Well, I'm glad I was able to help you out.
yeah, yeah. Thanks so much.
Anytime, but
What do I do? Hit leave studio, or
yeah.
I guess I could hit leave studio.
Yep.
Okay, man. Have a good night.
Hey, you too, buddy.
Okay. Nice meeting you.
Yep.
Take care.
And here's the man.
I can't get my camera to work. I need a
Uh,
technician.
oh man, he popped out.
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing
What,
good.
aren't
Yeah.
you past your bedtime, man?
Yeah, I know, man. I know. You know me. I'm night owl. I'm up late. Man, I'll be up late. The wife already done went to bed. She looked at me. She was like, "Shh, keep it down." I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Oh man. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
past my bedtime, but I saw you on here. I just want to tell you that I appreciate your videos. They're pretty awesome.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, because I mean, you're doing some good stuff out there in California, right? Yeah, because that's where you're at.
Yeah, I'm not doing great stuff, but you know, I'm just a notary, you know. But yeah, no, it's been slow for me this month. I took a little week off and did some whitewater rafting with my son, and ever since then I can't get in the groove. You know, I've only done 20 loans this month,
Okay.
so pretty
Yeah.
slow.
Well, when I went to Florida, I had to go to Florida twice, and yeah, it threw me off a little bit. You know, when I got back, it was like, man, I gotta get up and go to a signing. I was like, shh. And now I haven't been doing any Saturday signings, and I got to get up tomorrow and do 2. I'm like, man, now I'm like, I don't know if I should, man, I don't know if I want to do them, but they're going to be pretty easy. But it's just the fact that my body done got used to not doing them on Saturdays. And I like that. So, but I already knew because things were slow on my end too, that I was going to have to do a little bit more and stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I did a little. I got some computer stuff going on this month, so that's kind of helped me out. But you know, I want to get back in the groove though on the loan stuff. It's I'm getting the requests for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, I don't know how you're at over there, but here they're not. They're trying to pay less than $100 out here. I know I saw your videos about taking stuff for less, but in California, if you get stuff less than 100, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Now I do know California is different. Yeah. And see some of the other notaries, because see, they're trying to base what they do off of California. And I'm like, you know, like here in my area, like when I was working in Northern Virginia, I could get $100,000 a year easy. But then down in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia, doing the same work, they're like, "Nah, the cost of living is less. We'll pay you 67." I was like, "Okay, wait a minute." I'm like, I'm like 67,000, and I was like, okay, and I had worked out of town for 4 years, and then when I came back, I'm like, wait a minute, you pay when I left 4 years ago, I was making 73. And now that I come back, you want to pay me 67. You want to pay me less than what I was making 4 years ago. I was like, nah. I said, you know what? I'll just go out here and be a bouncer at a club or something like that. You know, I just have to do some push-ups. I said, I can't do that. You know, and they was like, well, you know, you webmasters, I'm a web guy. They're like, you web guys are a dime a dozen. I said, well, not this one. I said, I'm out, you know, and then and it was a 33-cent change in the salary. That's all I wanted was 33 cents more. And they was like, no, we're not going to do it. And I said, all right, fine, forget y'all. And then next thing I know, about 2 or 3 days later, I get an email. They gave me the 33 cents.
Yeah, well, you have to play hardball, right? It's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing in the notary business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So for some of these notaries, I'm just, you know, what I'm basing it on is talking to a few of the signing companies. And for a lot of them, what they're telling me is that they don't understand how a person who just got into the business, haven't done a single signing, and saying my bare minimum is 175. And they're like, and that is not even the going rate in the area that they're in. You know, they're like, and they're not talking about California. You know, they're talking about maybe Texas, Missouri, other areas. And they're like, how can we justify that? Because we got to go back to our client to say, okay, yeah, we're gonna pay this notary 175, and they're like, no, that package ain't worth 175. Well, that's not what we're doing. So a lot of people are like, well, I ain't going to do it. So what the signing company's been telling me is, when we come across notaries who are playing that hardball, especially when they're new with no experience at all, won't even work with us, on the fee a little bit, then we just make note and just don't ever call them again. And
They
everything.
get shut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the other thing works on the other end too. If you go in, if you say you're going to do something for like 75 or something, they mark that down on your profile too. The signing companies,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then they come in there. They'll come in there and say, "Hey, you did the last one for 75. Why are you charging 100 or whatever? Whatever your fee is. If you go higher,
And and like a lot of times, like for me, I mean, I like who is it? Well, I won't say the company's name. It's not a bad company, but like they normally pay 90, but their orders are always over 200 pages. So I'm like, so what I do is, and my method is on Saturdays, or anything on the weekend and late evenings, whatever late evening would be for a person, I ask for more. But if the order that's coming in is during a time that there's a whole plethora of other notaries that they got to choose from, it's hard to say, okay, I want 125 on this $85 order that y'all sending out, when there's 15, 20 others that'll take it for 185 or even 90. You know what I'm saying? For 85, so that's a hard one. But what I found is that if they're in a pinch, if they call me, then I can sort of, okay, yeah, I want more. Because I know notaries said, well, every time an order comes out, I just ask for more. And I say, how many signings have you done? None. I'm like, when are you doing it? Well, I normally just work the daytime, so it's like between 9 and 3. And I'm like, okay, you may not realize, but there's several, maybe a couple of thousand other notaries floating out here between 9 and 3. The signing companies have a pick of the litter. I said, what about doing something? Oh, no, I ain't doing nothing at night. I ain't doing nothing then. What about the weekend? Oh, no, I ain't doing nothing on the weekend. That's my party time. So I'm like, then I don't know how you're going to do it. I'm like, I don't know how. I don't know how you're going to do it. So, I mean, I think it's just a balancing act, and give them justification. I always tell them, I say, it's a 2-hour trip, 3-hour trip. There's tolls involved. And most of the time they'll be like, okay, they'll give me a little extra. There's been a few times they're like, nah, this is all we can do. But then I say, okay, well, fine, I'm going to knock it out for y'all because we need to get this deal done, right? And they're like, yeah, we need to get it done. Okay, no problem. And then it seems like that opens the door for them to send me more orders, because although they put down, yeah, he took it for 75 or 80, but then they're like, he helped us out in the bind.
Yeah.
So that helping them out in the bind, I think, tends to open up more of a door and everything. And again, I know it's subjective based on the area you're in, and that's why I have such a hard time with a lot of these Facebook notaries, and even some of these notaries that hop on YouTube, making it like it's an absolute that you have to be paid $150, $200, $300 per signing, or you're no good and you're just a bum and you're just killing. And I'm sitting here like, whatever you need to do to make the money for your family, that's what you do. I mean, just like you're bringing in your computer thing. And even for me, all of a sudden I got new web clients. I got a guy that I hadn't heard from in like a year. He's like, hey man, I need you to review my site and tell me why is it running slow. the house inspections and all of that, so I understand that, things float up and down with this business. So I said, I got to find other ways of making money in case things are a little slow. And so far it's been helping, but I do know there's notaries who are completely like, the notary is it. I'm not doing anything else. I don't have time to do anything else. So it's all or none with the notary, the loan closings. There's notaries, they won't even do general notary work to bring in extra money that way. And that's what I learned from Bill, to do that kind of stuff. And it has helped. I did one today after signing. The couple was like, can you sign this one paper? And I was like, all right, made $20. So it works out, if you find a way to work it.
That general notary work is awesome. I want to get away from loan signings. I mean, not saying that loan signings are bad or anything, but I did a trust signing today I was there, I want to say less an hour, and I made $225.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just better. You don't have to print anything. The attorney's there, I'm not saying you're going to get that over where you're at, but I'm just saying that.
Oh, no. That,
you can make more money doing the general notary work in some cases than doing these loan signings,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot less hassle because people, they're in a position where they really understand they need your services. There's no loan officer for them to be fussing and getting upset with and hoping that their numbers are right. When I do the wills and power of attorneys, any of the living trusts and things of that nature, estate planning stuff, it's a lot easier because they've already got all that worked out. And there's nothing for me to even be concerned about trying to explain. I just get in there and be like, hey, okay, you are, okay. You got your witnesses. They are. All right. 150, 200, whatever the fee is that and then you keep it moving, and then you can get repeat business from them, all of that. And they appreciate it. They appreciate it. Like the people today doing their loan closing, and they was like, yeah, our daughter's going off to college and we need these papers, notarized. Can you take care of that for us after we're done here? I said, no problem. And it was only 2 notarizations. And the mom was like, you know what? If we have any other papers, I'll make sure I give you a call. Roger that. Which means more than likely they'll tell their friends. So now you have an opportunity to have some good repeat business. And they was very well to do. So that's what I look at, man. I mean, I'm just trying to take it all in. And the one thing that I do want to get into for notary loan closings, I want to get into commercial real estate.
Oh yeah.
If I can get into that, man, that's where some of the big money is.
Yeah, I've done a few SBA loans for a couple signing companies. I had to drive down to San Jose, which from me is about without traffic, it's about an hour and a half drive.
Okay.
And with traffic, just tack on, 2 or 3 more hours. But anyway, they were paying, I think I did 1 or 2 for this company. They paid like $350
okay.
to do one of those. So they're pretty lucrative. I didn't mind driving that distance for $350,
Yeah.
But you have to, the thing with those particular SBA loans that I had to do, they had to be scanned back and you had to sit there until they approved it, so you couldn't leave until they said, yeah, you're good to go. You didn't miss anything and all that.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what happened with the one that I did. They was like, hey, well, once you do this, just hang tight. And then they found out, and I had my mobile printer, in the thing, and it was like, oh, we forgot to have him sign this document. So he had left, and then I had to meet up with him at a different location just to get him to sign one document and everything. And it wasn't my fault. It was their fault. You know, they forgot the document. They forgot to include it and all of that. So we got that done. And I've only done one, but it paid $300. And man, I was like, this is nice. I said, I can do one or two of these a day. I said, I can get with that.
Well, that's why I want to do trust and all this other stuff, because, you know, I did a couple loans today and a trust, and I do fingerprinting too. So I did a couple fingerprints, you know, so I didn't add up my day, but it was probably, I guess it was probably about $600 for the day. So, you know, if I can hit that mark, you know, every day, I'm doing okay, you know, so. And you know, I have to kind of hit that mark because I'm in a single income household,
right,
in the Bay Area. So you know, I know that doesn't mean much probably to you, but just know that it's very expensive.
Oh no, I'm familiar with the Bay Area. I've never lived there, but I am familiar with I've been to California a couple of times. Did boot camp out there, so I do understand how expensive it is, you know, the taxes and all of that. When my son was playing golf, I was looking at how, you know, I was like, okay, California is probably not where you want to play a whole lot of golf because they take a lot of your money in taxes, whatever you win. So yeah, I'm familiar with how expensive it is over there.
I better get off of here because you have all those questions. You should answer all those people. Give them help.
All right, my man. Good hearing from you.
Okay. Thanks for being there.
Anytime, bro. All right. So, Miss Joy, my thoughts on the market once. What I think is that, and I have no evidence to prove this, what I personally think is that the opportunity for real estate investors to swoop in and get good deals may increase because if people are getting evicted out of their homes. With them getting evicted out of their homes, that means the house is going to be up for sale. More than likely at a reduced cost, short sales, so forth and so on. I do know that because I've been having more inspections. A lot more inspections have been taking place, which means there's going to be a lot more refinances and buyers and sellers because they do these inspections before they close the deal. I think just a gut feeling, no financial, no market evidence at all, that if you have a bunch of real estate investors out there that's sitting on cash and people's homes start going up for foreclosure, I think some of these real estate investors will take advantage of an opportunity to swoop in and pick up some of these properties, which means if they buy the property, there's a closing. It's that simple. There's a closing. And then once they close, maybe 6 to 8 months later, they may refinance that property. Who knows? Or they may sell it to somebody after they finish rehabbing it, to turn a profit. So that's what I think could happen. I have no proof, no evidence whatsoever. How much would you say startup in Virginia? Depends on whether you're doing an LLC or not. I would stack maybe $2,000 to $2,500 just to be on the safe side. Looking at, well, maybe more because of the printer situation, but I would say at least $2,500 so you can have paper and your basic supplies and all of that and have enough to get you going. I would say at least $2,500. As I said before, with the Notary Gadget, Notary Earth, Notary Assist, it really doesn't matter which one. Sign up with them, use their free thing they give you to put in like the first 15 orders. Do that and see how that works. And then compare how they interact with each other. I mean, not with each other, but how your interaction is with them. Do you like Notary Assist more than Notary Gadget? All of that. And for as the video, I never did a video on that, Suede. Never did a video. I know Victor Chambers did, and other notaries did. I never really thought about doing it because there was so many videos out there that talked about that. They all talked about how much it costs to get in. It costs this much to get in, it costs that much, you know. So I never really thought about doing one. What else? Yeah, so all right. So I guess I'm gonna bounce off of here. Appreciate y'all. I just want to try, I'm gonna try to do maybe once a month, maybe twice a month. Just hop on here and answer some questions. I really want to do one. I've been trying to plan to do a video just where I'm talking about, and it goes into what Suede is talking about, but really talk about the process of becoming a notary and then becoming a signing agent, just in a general sense of what you have to do. I think a lot of people don't understand they're hopping into business, running to taking these non-NNA courses that's teaching them to be a business owner, but not teaching them the notarial part. And granted, a lot of the companies are saying, hey, go get the notarial part over here. But in my opinion, you need to get the notarial part down first, because we know how human beings are. If you teach them enough, you know, like Eddie Murphy said, you give a man a rope, he'll think he's a cowboy. You give people enough knowledge, enough tips and tricks, they're going to be off to the races and trying to do stuff. And then next thing you know, you got what we got now with the industry, with all these people doing all this crazy stuff and all of that. And it's like, okay, these signing companies, these title companies don't want to have nothing to do with notaries. They're starting to pick up on y'all's profiles as to whose training system you're part of. They're starting to notice the pattern that notaries from this group, from that group, notaries who didn't take NNA training, they're acting a certain way. they're noticing all of that. Your pricing structure. Oh, well, yeah, we know who you got your pricing structure from. Your pricing structure doesn't work here. You know, and then you have to ask yourself, why would a company want to pay less? Well, you typically want to pay less when things aren't going well for you. When things when things aren't going well and you got people making constant mistakes, you know what? Instead of paying 125, I'm just going to pay 90. Because I'm going to have to take the difference between the 125 and 90 and pay somebody to go back out and fix what more than likely they're going to jack up. I'm going to have to send somebody out on trailing docks for $50. So why pay the full 125, 150 when I know there's going to be errors? I know there are. And oops, there it is. There's another error. Hey, can somebody get me a notary to go fix this here? That's what's going on. Now, if I'm wrong, please correct me, you know. And I've always said it, you know, I'm not somebody who doesn't make mistakes. I'm just sharing with y'all my perspective. I try to back it up. But at the same time, I am oh man, people. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. All right, man, people. All right. All right, party people. Let me bounce. I'm tired. I got to get up in the morning. Didn't realize we was on this long. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. I think y'all understand my message. And again, I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, but at the same time, those people are coming at y'all and they don't care that they sound like a broken record with telling you, don't do this, don't do that, dot, dot, dot. So I'm here, I'm backing y'all. And as I always say, if they sitting up here bragging about how much they're making per signing, ask them what their monthly goals are. How much money you trying to pull in a month? And most of the time, they can't tell you that. They can't answer that. All they worried about is what they're getting per signing. How much are you making per month? What is your goal? And if they can't answer that, they might not be somebody you need to listen to. All right. Well, y'all have a good one. Thanks for everything. Really appreciate it. Acme Notary, thank you. Thank you, Suede. I really appreciate all of y'all. Peace.